right, hold on. We're good to go. Yep. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTube. Let me just double check and make sure that this is okay. But it looks like YouTube is up and running. To which I say, hell yeah. YouTube is in fact up and running. That means you boot up Twitch now. Boop. Make sure that everything's running on Twitch. Give me a second just to double check. Oh, I finally got the right buttons for once. Go me. I did? Okay, everything's correct. Yeah, everything's actually right. We're good to go. All right, that was it's all right. I cut it real close. Well, to be fair, it was my butt that cut it close. That's all. But yeah. Close them tabs. Make sure there's not too many loud tabs open. All right, cool, 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 cool. How is everybody on this fine Monday night? Ooh, you know what I have to do? Give me 1 second, as I did not get a chance to do this yet. Well, to you guys, nothing will change, so don't worry about what I'm saying, okay? It's yeah. It's all gravy. Yep. Can't see what I'm up to, so it's totally fine. There we go. Take that, put it in here. Do that. Bring me over here. I'm going to add an image. Don't make it visible for yet. Give me this. Go here. Sorry I didn't get a chance to do this before. That's the one. To put this bottom right for now. I think I can change the transparency, but I don't actually know how to work that yet. So give me 1 sec. Might be a filter. Yeah, hold on. Let me apply one. I can make it scroll. You are 100% correct. This is something he suggested he's used, but also apparently DM Shin used this to help build Cardna. So I want to hear about it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I want it. I want it. Okay, this works. Can I make it? I can make it. Oh, it changes the direction it goes in. I think that's fine. Oh, but if I loop it, what happens here? It was pretty good. My boss is sick, so we didn't have that long of a thing, a meeting, but it's fine. We did like a hour call, which is okay by me. My mom burst in 3 times while the call was happening. The 3rd time, she just stood in the doorway, watched us having a video chat, and talked at the back of my head. And I was like, oh, you starting early this go around. It took you a while to start interrupting calls at my last job. You starting day 1. This was after she had come over like 47 times this afternoon And at one point came into the house and was like, I don't like your new job. I was like, I didn't do anything yet. I literally have done nothing. So I knew it was coming. But pretty good. Pretty okay otherwise. I'm going to see if this works. I think it's going to scroll in place, which is not what I want, but I will deal with that later because I didn't have a chance to do this because I just remade our logo. It scrolls in place, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it does. All right, I'll deal with that later. That will take some fixing. Just give me some time for that. I might also shrink it a bit. But yep, that'll be a button on the stream deck as well, I'm sure, at some point. I'm going to turn off the scroll for now. Hello!
Hello, hello.
I almost gave you a hello, children!
Oh my goodness. I probably would have been scared and run away. I would have actually I would have definitely had to run away for a moment. Like, I don't know who you are. What have you done with my friend? What's up, stream?
Stolen.
What's going on, Grimbo Slice? I feel like I'm the only. I feel like that's my favorite nickname of his.
Oh, there's either Grimbo Slice or Grimchan in Paradise was our old favorite.
Oh, oh, Grimchan in Paradise. Oh my.
Yo, I don't know what Cam's screen name used to be. Oh my god, Cam is the one who gave that to you. Oh, but what is his... I forgot what his screen name used to be. Oh my god. I miss Cam. I hope he's doing
Apparently,
all right.
apparently it's my uh 28th month anniversary.
At your job?
No, for the stream.
Wait, what?
Damn, my job. Yeah, apparently I've been a sub for 28 months. I just found out.
What?
Here, I'll share it.
Oh my god. I love you guys. I love you all. Ah!
There you
Aw, 6-month streak! The power!
Honestly, it would probably be better if I remembered it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I know exactly what it is. I am just terrible at remembering. Oh wait, this subscription, or like you change debit cards, and
Oh,
you're like, yeah, I got everything, and then you're like, ah, shit. Hey, Waz, what up?
What's up, Awaz? So earlier, one of the many times my mom burst in, she was like, "Hey, I need you to check my phone because it says my cards don't work." And I was like, "I guarantee you, it's someone trying to steal your information." So we fought about that, and then she left after we went through literally 200 texts of people trying to steal her information, and she leaves.
I
I'm sure you have to deal with the same shit.
No, I was gonna let you finish first because I feel like there. What happened when she left? I now
So,
I'm invested.
so she leaves the house, right? And she comes back in like an hour later, and she goes, "I don't know where my phone and my credit cards are." And I go, "What?" And my mom goes, "Yeah, I was outside." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, I picked up sticks." And I was like, "Oh, so you put your phone down to pick up sticks?" She goes, "No, I wouldn't do that." And I was like, "Well, you need two hands, so I'm pretty sure you had to put your phone somewhere. Is it in your pockets?" And she was like, "Nah." So, okay, cool. So we walk across the street. We go look through Paul's house for her phone. I'm like, and she goes, "I wasn't in here." And I was like, "Okay, so were you outside? You literally just walked out the door and picked up sticks. So you put your phone down outside." And she goes, "No, I wouldn't do that." And I'm like, "Well, you need two hands to pick up sticks. So I'm pretty sure that's what you did." So I go, "Did you go in the backyard?" And she goes, "I picked up sticks all over." And I'm like, "Okay, so you went in the backyard." So I walk in the backyard and I find her phone on the banister covering her credit cards that she left outside on the porch. And I'm like, "Well, at least you're predictable. Like, as long as you stay
Mm,
predictable, we can find your stuff."
mm. I think the wildest part of this for me is that there's there's absolutely one of your neighbors that randomly sees your mom just appear in their front yard picking up sticks and is
Yeah.
just petrified. It's like, honey, the stick woman's back. Shit, put something out. And like, I know it's harmless. That's the thing about it. I know it's absolutely harmless, but I feel like in your mom's mind and knowing the lore. So if you're new to to the stream, you probably don't know all the lore, but if you've been watching Okami for a long time, you've absolutely heard him chime in about his family at some point.
Yeah.
But or if you watch his Unfairy Tales, you'll learn all about him.
That's true.
Shameless plugging.
Currently
Uh,
making the shorts of them on the other channel.
Look at
Ooh,
you,
follow age. Nightbot used to do that, but he doesn't anymore because they changed the API or something. And when I
Oh
started
yeah.
using Nightbot again, anytime it involved measuring time, it would pop up this huge error message, and I was like, I'll fix that later, and I never did.
I thought it was because it was a dirty hoe, personally.
That too.
But that's usually my answer for most things.
I feel that. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Gygax 75 challenge. Now, I told when Grim came in, he was like, "Is this clubs content?" And I was like, "Yes."
It is.
But also, I hear you use this as well.
I have. Um,
Tell us about it.
so I'll give you guys a little bit of I guess a precursor is the best way to put it, right? Is that the word I want to use? I don't
I
know.
think so.
I don't know. I don't have verbiage at all the times of the day, but the Gygax 75 challenge is a really interesting challenge that Gary Gygax. So first off, if you don't know who Gary Gygax is, and if you don't know who Gary Gygax is, you don't know who Arneson is, you don't know the men who sat down wargaming to create D&D. Um, there's some really dope. I found this one YouTuber. I will give you the link in a second if you want to drop it. There's no connection to this guy. I just find him really interesting. I've been sending him to clubs all for like the past 2 weeks. Um, Mostly because he talks about it, but he talks about the history of D&D. If you don't know who Gygax is, he is pretty much one of the fathers of D&D. And I
Heck
say
yeah.
one of the fathers to make sure that I give credit to all the people who sat down and helped create D&D, because that was a big battle between TSR and Arneson for a long time. Um, that's a story for another day. But the Gygax 75 challenge is Gary Gygax's way of kind of giving fledgling DMs the tools to write their own campaign. It's kind of a challenge. It's like, hey, you're going to write a campaign, you're going to create a story, you're going to do something along the lines of creating a game even. All right, here's a 75-week challenge. Which sounds ridiculous, but quite honestly, a year and a half, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'm not sticking to it perfectly, but I'm writing still because I'm still writing. I'm actively writing as we speak. You guys have sent me into a tizzy with your characters for Cardina, and Dia Lacara especially has been providing ample thoughts on her character and what she'd like them to do, and
Ooh.
it's helped me sit down and start recrafting things. And naturally, our resident bard, who's going to be joining us as well, uh, rendition of a maestro is also going to be interesting because I
Ooh.
revamp I revamp things slowly. Um, we're still waiting to see if Dex is going to join us. I don't know if you were able to reach out to him about it.
Ooh. Shout out to Dex. who the closing
Always.
on the house
Ooh.
finished today. He called me to tell me that, and then he's like, "I gotta go," and I was like, "Yo, congratulations, bro! Fuck yes."
Oh, good shit. Happiness. And that's just the best news I've heard today. But I know you're going to be joining. I know DM Speedy is going to be joining as well. So even if it's just the four of you, I'm going to be having guest appearances from people sporadically, of course. You guys are going to be in for a hell of a time. You
Hell
guys are going to be in
yeah.
for a hell of a time. I have to set up my session 0 with you guys, uh, and I have to sit down with you one of these nights.
Ah, true, true,
Uh,
true. I still have to do that. My bad.
yeah, no, it's okay. I've also been in. I'm also scheduling a campaign at the same time you're planning to move, like within the same week,
Mm,
realistically is not the smartest thing to do. But I've only been known for most of my decisions being wise, not all.
mm, I can understand that as well.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of cool stuff. But the Gygax 75 challenge is something the clubs gave me and was just like, hey, you're writing a whole world. And clubs being kind of like my D&D Miyagi.
Aww.
That's probably the best way to put it. He is the person who reignited my love for TTRPGs. Um, I was mostly into D&D at first from a gaming standpoint. I had always loved the world of D&D. I had actually gotten a red box when I was a kid, aka old Gygax edition.
Duh.
Um, my grandma bought it for me because it had action figures and a board, and she knew I liked all that fantasy shit. And that's literally the best way to describe it, I think, to people, is that my grandmother looked at me and she was like, "Yeah, he's." Before she knew it, she's like, he's probably gonna put on elf ears one day, and I'm just gonna buy him this box. She was right. I did one day. Um, but the long and short of it is Gygax's creation of this challenge, to get back on point, is Gygax's creation of this challenge is to help people. It's to help people who may have been like myself and gotten a box for D&D when they were a kid or got introduced to things. And clubs gave it to me, like I said it before, to pretty much help me guide myself as I created Gardner, uh, and kind of go back through things as I was after submitting everything and getting feedback about everything. I kind of sat down and I wanted to like make sure I restructured things accordingly,
Hmm.
realizing that some parts needed expansion, better explanation, reformatting. Uh, I'm going to start playing around soon with putting this back into page format, so for like printing
Ooh. Mhm.
purposes.
Ooh.
And
Clubs do be loving
that,
that.
yeah, I secretly one day kind of sort of want to like pull clubs and be like, hey man, like if I handed you a document, hypothetically, in all of your whenever you felt like it, would you just like reformat it into a dope ass
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, he's really good at that. He's really,
it's
really good at that.
it's if you guys remember the last show and tell where we put up club's work, he is the man is an illustrator god. All right, let's just put it that way. That man is creative. I've watched him recreate zine covers. He's just really good with photo editing and like creative design stuff like that. Absolutely is the person I would go to for this. I provide him all the imagery and just be like, please, please, I will buy you lunch every day that you do this. Just please help me. I will buy you I will buy you and the fam everything for dinner. Just please, just help me on these days.
Help
Help
me.
me. That's exactly what I started to channel. But so hopefully when we get into the Gygax 75 challenge, if you are writing your own D&D campaign or have ever wanted to, or even if you're just a writer who wants to try something, I think as we go through this, it's going to be really cool And I'd say if you have an active campaign, you're watching this, try putting your campaign through it and see how it fares. See if maybe you just stumble upon one or two things that need some fine tuning in your campaign. I'm not saying there's not anything wrong with the campaign. I'm just saying, as a DM, GM, narrator, navigator, referee, whatever you want to call yourself, um, you, let's face it, we're always writing more lore for our campaigns. We're
Yeah.
never done. It's kind of a curse. I'll start writing one thing and be like, oh yeah, I want to give him this cool weapon. What if there was another version of this weapon? Now I've written the entire like island that this weapon exists on with lore and reasons why, and I'm like, so now back to the introduction to my entire document.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
never
point.
like you just work on one. When you're the DM, it's never you're just working on one thing at a time. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make this. Oh, but then that makes me think of this. Oh, now I gotta work on like DMing is very ADHD brain. I
I'd
just gotta
say if
fit
you
all these
didn't
things
have it,
together.
I feel like if you didn't have ADHD before you were a DM, you officially have it upon becoming a DM, or like that's the sign that it's starting to kick in. Not the bookshelf full of books. Not
Mm-hmm.
not the ever growing collection of dice, you know, or the strange obsession and like subdirectory on your laptop and or desktop, maybe even your digital drive for all of your TTRPG files that you collected, shit like that.
It's
Hey, what's
bad.
up?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh snap!
How's it
Perfect.
going?
We
perfect
stalled
timing.
just long enough. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm
now
so happy
you
that
can
it
give
did.
us your description of how you've used this, Clubs. Since it is
Oh,
your,
this?
it's your thing.
Oh, okay, okay. Gygax 75 challenge. Let me pull it up here. Hold on.
Hell yeah. Oh, for the record,
Uh,
for those of you on YouTube, you can drop the description down below. If you're on Twitch, I'm going to share the link because you can go on Itch right now and download this. It's a pay what you want, but Itch is cool in that even if you just pay $0 now, if you use this and want to give Otus question mark? Yes. Otus a tip, like you can pay him infinite times because that's the beauty of Itch.
mm, mm, it's true.
Yeah.
It's
Anytime
true.
they help you, just throw money their way.
Just hand them the funds. They deserve it. Let's
Yeah.
just be fair.
But I think you also shared it in our chat,
I
Clubs.
got it.
You
I got
did.
it here. Um,
I
is it
don't
just
know
like?
if we know DM Speedy's not dropping in tonight. Dungeon Mommy might drop in tonight. Um,
Whoa,
and
whoa! Don't threaten me with a good time.
DM Lacara might drop in tonight.
Well, in that case, we'll talk some Gygax 75 challenge until
Yeah.
then. All right,
We got
cool.
ourselves a guy.
Well, we brought this up, I think, in another stream, but the name is because it's based off of an article from 1975 Wargaming zine where I forget what it was called, Europa, something like that. Anyway,
Hmm.
we talked about the article a little bit where in it he basically said like to start playing D&D you need a town, the local area around the town, and a dungeon. And so this was put together as sort of a worksheet for referees, GMs, DMs, whatever you call yourself, to put together all you need to run a game. And we spent a lot of time, I think, talking about how you could use it in a sense of like, let's say you even run a sci-fi game, right? And you don't want to call things dungeons, you don't want to call things towns,
Mm.
but you can skin it to be anything. It could be like your space station or your the solar system, right? And the local area is a solar system, the town is the space station, and the dungeon is, you know, the one area that has all the adventure that you want the players to go adventure in, right?
Mm.
So you can skin this to be anything. And this little book here is how to basically make the world. And so, actually, before we get into this, I think the point of this is not to say that you don't need a whole world to play the game in. It's to say that you don't need to start the game in that. You can play with these three basic things, and the this the inspiration that you use or the notes that you give yourself will inform this world or this setting, whatever you're using it for, to then answer questions as they come up for both yourself and your players, right? So we'll get into exactly how that all works. But if you go to like week 1, you'll start to see exactly what I'm talking about. Week 1 is the concept, and that's kind of the most useful part. I've done this for many areas in my games just this 1 week, right? Just the first week, just so I can answer questions about places. And it's the concept. It's like, what is this thing? Like, what are you making? Are you making that solar system? Are you making the example in here? I think is like a Babylonian Bronze Age, like Sumerian Mesopotamia style D&D. I'm pretty sure. I didn't actually read it, but that's the vibe I get from like the name.
I
We'll see
also
what they
think
actually
like
say.
this starting now, Grimbo, if you're still here, like this will help you when you're trying to build your worlds. And the same goes for Laundry
Mhm.
King. I'll probably send him this stream later because he doesn't show up. But if I send him the link, he'll watch
Yeah,
it later.
like I mentioned before, like this is great. This is great for, like I said, if you're building that campaign, which is ideally the reason you're building a world, is that you probably want to run a campaign or of some kind and you want to do things. This is a great way to really, or if you already have a running campaign, I find this is a cool way to kind of double check and see, hey, maybe you missed out on stuff, because again, you will get ADHD. We were saying before, you get ADHD brain if you didn't have it before. Once you become like a referee or a DM, GM, or whatever
You
you
got to
know.
wear many
Yeah.
hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like the thing that I never understood. So first of all, when you become a in this day and age, this modern day and age of ours, you become a referee, GM, DM, whatever, and you start googling like how to be GM, referee, DM, whatever, like for this game, like how to, and people will tell you like how to do it and stuff, but you know, in reality, the research that I like to do the most is not game related. It's like lore research, or not lore, mythology research, right? Like
Mm.
we just brought up like ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, Babylon, and shit. Like when you get that many hats, GM brain, you happen to watch a video about the Epic of Gilgamesh, you get ideas for games. Like they come from literally anywhere,
Hell
right?
yeah.
Like they don't have to come from game related sources. They don't have to come from like here's how to GM sources. You can get just as much GM inspiration or guidance or whatever from your favorite movie or whatever. You know, like whatever it comes from anywhere. Ratatouille, right?
Mm. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of, there's no bad way once you start diving in, especially mythology, when you start using that, you can retell stories any which way you want. Don't take the You can take the mythos loosely and recreate it any which way you want. Or
Yeah.
you could just recreate it. Like you could. I've seen people write on like different like subreddits and stuff like that. I think I saw one time I crossed someone who did like Jason and the Argonauts, but
Hmm.
the DM was Jason and he got disabled at every turn, and so the players were the Argonauts, and their job was pretty much to tell the epic of Jason and the Argonauts, but it was really the Argonauts who did everything. And like they changed the story of Jason and the Argonauts. It's kind of similar to like the Dragon Lords campaign that we did.
Yeah.
At the end
Just
of the day, it has a guaranteed ending because there's a time frame that it's supposed to exist within.
we'll just like take your inspiration and do with it whatever you will. What's that quote? I mean, Matt Colville is known for saying it, but it's not his quote. It's like creativity. Hold on, I don't want to get this wrong. Creative creativity is the measure of the obscurity of our references.
What?
Creativity is the measure of the obscurity of our references.
I like that.
All right. All
That
right.
means
That was oddly deep.
being creative, like how creative you are, is really a measure of how well you can obscure the stuff you've stolen, or the stuff that has inspired you to make what you're making. You can't just, if you loved Mario 1, you can't just make Mario 1, right? You have to make your own game inspired by Mario 1, right? Like that kind of
You
thing.
got to be Jumpman the first, so it's legally distinct.
If someone,
Jumpman the first, did you say?
like it's there's that quote, like there's no original ideas.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not untrue.
So just bury your influences in a shellac, right? Like file all the serial numbers off and repaint them a different color, and then wear them proudly.
Yeah. No, you're gonna find. I think it was just the other day, and I realize it's all algorithm based as well. But like because I've done so much work on Cardinal over the past year, I realize that now anytime there's anything related to gothic horror in like a TTRPG Kickstarter, it's like, check this out. And it only spins me into anxiety when I'm like, huh? Is this identical to what I'm doing? And then I'm like, no, it's not. We're all doing somehow the same thing but differently, and this is all 5e based, so I'm okay. Like that's my only catch-22. But you're gonna see things that look identical. It's okay.
That's gonna feed into week 1 here, the concept.
Tell us about it.
Look at that.
Yeah, so basically, I'm not gonna read the Gary Gygax quote. By the way, I think Gary Gygax's real first name was Ernest, so his initials are EGG. So
I was gonna ask who's egg.
Yeah, that's actually Gary Gygax, and in one of his dungeons, I forget which, the layout of the dungeon actually spells egg, like the negative space between rooms. And that's like his little Easter egg. And like you should be doing that kind of shit in your games.
Oh yeah.
You should
I
have
agree
fun
with you
it in
wholeheartedly.
that like stupid just for you sort of way.
Yeah, you have to have fun.
Yeah. But all right. So the first task is like get a notebook. You could obviously do whatever. We're gonna skip that. Right? Get some place to keep all this, whether that's Google Docs or a notebook or a fucking sheet of paper that you cherish and fold up and unfold all the time. Develop your pitch. This is super huge. I feel like I'm a broken record. Sometimes people are really excited about things and they want to tell me about their like idea for like a game they want to run or something like that, and I say just give me the like one sentence. Give me the one sentence what it's about, like please.
I am guilty of hitting him with this so many times. And so I've gotten used to it. I've gotten very used to it.
it's pretty ubiquitous. It's tough to do. Like, it's a hard ask. Like, I ask for one sentence, so I know that I'll get like 3 to 7. You know,
It's true. It's true.
but that's I just said 3 to 7 because of this, but like, you know, I'll get more. But essentially, like, being able to concisely pitch, and this is like a whole other fucking topic that you could really, really get me started on here. That I think the sentence, "Do you want to play D&D?" is a bad and unhelpful sentence. And that you need to actually really work on your pitch. You need to say what the game is. If it's really some kind of vanilla, sorry, not vanilla. If it's really some sort of like kitchen sink, anything goes, we don't like, you have no plans for this, whatever you guys want to do, you tell me, sort of situation, let's just try to play D&D, then you can say the words, let's play D&D. But if you have some kind of idea in your head, if you want to play an adventure, if you want to play a certain system, if you want to play a certain style, put that in your pitch. Say, I want to play Dragon Heist using 5e 2014 and only PHB classes and races, and, you know, do you want to play? Right? I think that's way more useful of a thing. It's like almost like Dungeons and Dragons is a game engine, and you're not asking someone to play a specific thing when you ask them to play Unreal.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's everyone has a different version of the game and stuff. So anyway, developing your pitch is like pretty important. But this in the context of the Gygax 75 challenge, I'm sorry I talk this way. Anyway,
Don't be. Keep going.
Yeah,
I like
no,
this.
Well, so
I've been looking forward to hearing
Yeah,
you
I want to
poetic
hear
about this
from the
thing.
two of you who have used this before. It's more important than if I talk about it.
Well, no. Everyone's valid here.
So yeah, it's true. It's good to hear from everyone. But in this case, we got these pitches where you have to basically come up with some pointers. Now, to use the example they have here, because I don't want to use my area that I use as an example because it's very relevant, I think, to the current game I'm running. And, you know, you're a player in it, Shin. So I can't tell you all about it. But I will tell you that if we use Uzrak, where gods walk, the pitch uses these like sample sentences here, and they're expanded on, but things like player characters are human. So, you know, you can explain that with whatever's into your setting. Iron tools are relatively new and antithetical to magic. So yeah, maybe that's why it's giving me Iron Age, like Mesopotamia, shit like that. There are only 2 classes, mages and fighters. Wow, that's pretty cool in my opinion. But powers of chaos and law, war over the fate of humanity, these are all very general things, but they're pointers that you use to sort of anchor yourself. And, you know, especially the explanations, you write down these pitches as just the first sentences, the underlined bit, and then you go back and sort of expand on it. Well, what does that mean? Like, I want to have powers of law, chaos and law warring over the fate of humanity. I want that to be an element of my game. So what does that mean? So we read, humans are seen as a threat because of their proliferation, innovations, and innate self-reliance. The gods struggle to subvert, recruit, or destroy humans, treating them like pawns in some complicated and deadly game. Alignment matters. So that's like the whole vibe that you want for there. So then later, when you're doing the rest of this and you're coming up with like, okay, well, what is going to be here? Like, what, there's a big castle here. I want a big castle. What's going to be in it? Maybe it's one of these, the minions of chaos or a champion of law that has a big castle there because that's important to my game, that kind of thing. You use it to sort of inform yourself of what could be there because, there's only mages and fighters. Well, to me, that means that adventurers only come in mages and fighters. You're never going to see thieves right? You're never going to come across thieves. That's not something you even need to worry about. And clerics are not a thing. Priests, if anything, they're not adventurers. They just sit in the church and do whatever, right? They're not going out to try and change things. It says cleric spells are open to mages, actually. So at first, most mages tap lesser powers for their sorcery, but to gain real power, many mages devote themselves to or are simply enslaved by a patron deity. Oh, so they get patron deities, so they're like sorcerer priests, which is very much a sandals and sorcery Mesopotamia Bronze Age sort of vibe thing. But all of this just informs your world, and even more so when you look at the gathering your sources for inspiration. This is my favorite part. This is the biggest one, and this is the most useful, because even if you just get a piece of paper and say like, okay, I need a Mars-like planet, and I want my Mars-like planet to be unique. I want it to have certain things on it. What do I want my Mars-like planet to be like? Well, can you guys think of any movies, TV shows, cartoons, books, or anything that has a Mars-like planet?
Mars Attacks and John Carter.
John Carter's a really good one. I'm inclined to pick that because of it's so Appendix N and like inspiration for AD&D and shit like that. So John Carter of Mars, if you're familiar with that, you say, okay, here's my one of my inspirations, right? And you just keep listing them. There's no limit at first. You just write all your inspirations. You're like Carter of Mars. What else is there? There's I think there's like some sci-fi movie I remember that's like Ghosts of Mars that was on Mars. I don't remember.
That was a John Carpenter. That's John Carpenter.
Yeah,
That's
something
John
like that.
Carpenter's Ghost of Mars. Yeah, I know. That's
technically Doom.
Doom is also on Mars. Yeah.
Yo, Dune. But you know what? You just said something, and I thought you said Dune, but Dune is a really good one. What if?
Oh yeah.
I want to use Dune as an inspiration to this world. So it's a Mars-like world that's John Carter of Mars ish, but it also let's give it some Dune-isms. So like, there's just vast deserts on this.
That works too.
World. Red deserts, giant animals, either walking the desert or under the desert or in the sky, something like that, right? And we can pull from it as much as we want. We can identify the things we like. Maybe the only thing we like from Dune is the like resource spice, right? We want to keep we'll make our own thing. There's mushrooms that grow in water caverns below the desert, right? So that we'll write that inspired by Dune. What else do we like? Do we like Mad Max? I mean, that's sort of on the nose with Mars-like and desert. What else do we like instead of that?
Trying to think. Well, both
Sun?
DC and Marvel
Dark
have
Sun.
Mars.
I was gonna say Dark Sun. Dark Sun's automatically my go-to.
So Dark Sun, let's just do it. We'll add Dark Sun, and we'll say that the inspirations, the thing we like about Dark Sun is like bone weapons, and
that's cool.
Drawing magic from the planet, maybe.
Magic hurts the planet, right? Like there you go. Those are like two really big. You can keep going, but those are two great ones. And we're 3 influences in, and you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. You make a list. Now you have a whole list of like cool ass fucking ideas, and then you erase half of them. You like get it down. It says like get it down to 7. Get 7 ideas that you can really use. When you make a table of something, you could put 3 random things on it, and then 7 references to the 7 things that are there, your inspirations. And now
that's clever.
Random encounter table will always produce your world, like things, the verisimilitude of the things that you would find in that world based on its descriptions will naturally come there. So you don't have to tell people it's there's some spice drug mushrooms in underground caverns. You can have that be an encounter. They encounter that. You can show instead of tell them. Like you can create this world based on these inspirations. Or if you're using this to like let's say the Forgotten Realms is like I haven't been keeping up. but they used to be guilty of only talking about one coast of one continent, and then
Yep.
they'd talk about like Fae, right? Well, you as the GM, if
That
you
has
ever,
not changed.
yeah. So if your players ever ask you about Fae and you wanted to have information about it, what you could do is essentially just collect the 7 bullet points from the book. Maybe you only get 6, maybe you only get 4 good bullet points from official sources, and the rest you have to make up yourself to make your own Fae. Well, now you have these 7 bullet points with a little bit of an explanation. You have the pitches, how you want to pitch your own version of Fae, and these 2 little bulleted lists will help you answer sort of any question, because now we sort of have, if we imagine Fae as Uzrak, whatever it is,
Mhm.
um, your player is like, I'm Thayan, I have these Thayan marks or whatever, like blah blah blah. I'm from there. I'm from Thay. So what do I know about this? And you're like, bah, instead of blah 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 blah, you just look at your bulleted list and be like, you don't know anything about that because that's not a thing that's there. There's no, I keep saying Thay, but I mean this Uzruk or whatever. What is it?
Uzrak.
Uzrak. And it's like, what about the clerics in Uzrak? And you go there, it's like, actually, there are no clerics in Uzrak. And you have your official fucking answer that is like what the answer will be when they go there. You're not making up some shit. You're not getting back to them. Like, you have it as a realized place. You just don't have it as a filled in content place, you know?
Oh.
That's what the later weeks are for, if you actually go to that place, right? This first week is like how you conceptualize a place and keep it as a actual place, right? Like as you create it as an idea and a concept, right? It's called the concept, I think, this week. So this can be used to create, just the first week to flesh out areas. Let's say okay, I'm gonna give you one more example, then I'm gonna shut the fuck up and we can talk about it. Let's say
Say as
you're
much as you
playing
want.
Phandelver, right?
Uh-huh.
Lost Lords of Phandelver. They give you a lot of information about the town, but you can use this way to really flesh out the town yourself. You go through it, you write these bullets that are official bullets that you take out of the book or the pamphlet, whatever it is, and you turn it into the important bullets that you need to know about this place. You take your inspirations about the vibes and the style of this place and everything that you want to keep straight about it, maybe how they talk, you can use that for that, right? Your inspirations. And then you can also use this for other things. Maybe your players are like, I don't know, I have to go to the fucking Neverwinter Wood. So you're like, okay, I really want them to adventure through the Neverwinter Wood. Let me make this a location. Let me develop this. What is my inspirations for the Neverwinter Wood? What do I know about it? What is my pitches? Like, what are the 4 bullet points? I need to include the Neverwinter Elf. I'm just making shit up, but the Neverwinter Elves. I need to include this one dragon that's there. I need to include this. I need to include this. And you come up with your bullet points. You come up with your inspirations. You come up with basically your mental map, and then if the players are going to actually go there, you go to week 2 making the map of the Neverwinter Wood.
Oh, so like this is basically building like the neural net for week 1, but you don't actually have to connect the nodes on the neural net unless you need to.
Yeah,
No, it's all a blanketed outline for yourself when you're ready for it.
You're making a folder and you're putting one document in the folder that defines the things that will go in that folder, right?
Smart.
Like the special variables unique to that folder are defined in that document, and that's it. To put it into like programming.
They got split up on the Anorak?
For me, I used the method itself, to make an area next to the area the players are currently in our game. So
Oh.
they're currently in a big forest. There's a swamp to the northwest that I really only had the map of, like a hex map of the terrain
Mm.
and the name of a few places. And like one of the names was very evocative, and I sort of went by that, and I kept the other names, of course, because I wanted to keep it like as close to the original map as possible, because we're set in a particular setting, and that map is from that setting. So I keeping everything the way it was, the terrain the way it was, and the names of everything the way it was. I had nothing else. There's no official anything. I had to come up with everything else, right? So I had to get my inspirations for what's in this swamp. I had to get what I wanted the swamp to be about, those pitches, right? Like, what did I think cool things or dangerous things or things that I just wanted to see? What did I want, right? And this is where you, as the referee or GM or DM, gets to define what that location means in your pitches, right? If you're this in particular really assumes you're making this up for your game, like as the whole setting of your game, not just like one area like I really use it for. Let's say you have no setting to set your game in, you can make it with this, and it is really giving you that, yeah, like you said, neural network. I think that's a good sort of way to put this first week. Like, you sort of make all these nodes, you don't connect any of the nodes, you just sort of make the nodes, and now whenever you need to, when you're mad libbing the rest of your content, your
Yeah.
town, your wilderness, whatever it is, your dungeon, you pull from this and you pull from that, and you pull from those two lists, and you're not pulling from outside the list, so you always get a answer that you should have
Yeah.
for that area.
I think a lot of people going into, especially like first time DMs, they only have one node, like this is my world, and they build out from that. But the problem is if there are other important points out there that maybe you don't have, like your net is going to get messed up as it expands and hits those other nodes that like you had to retroactively add in there, and it's going to create like a weird little divot.
Yeah.
But if you have like the major points are already plotted, it's so much easier to connect the dots. Like for me in my campaign, uh, one of the things that was weird was Jack DT the player can't read a map. So when the players asked where are you from, he said the wrong direction. And we accepted that as the new canon, but realistically it was just because he can't read a map. But because he said he was in the wrong spot, I got to reconnect his character to everything else that was happening in that area, and it was fun. But like if I didn't have the other nodes to connect to, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You have these points that you can use as references for things instead of continually laying new track in front of you, which works, but your players pick up on eventually. Having a world that is contained within itself and things are permanent within that world goes a long way for feeling real. You know what I mean? When you
I think
say, sorry, go on.
no. No, go ahead. Continue.
No, I you first.
We're so polite here.
No,
I
I was
love
gonna
this
say
place.
I was gonna say the idea of things becoming permanent in the world. I like that. It's something that I really worked into when I was trying to create my game. In the fact that I had no idea, and this is just a spoiler, I guess, or a fun behind the scenes point, I guess. The fact that Cardona is really a world full of water because one, I like boats, or I always wanted to. I guess I don't like boats, but I always wanted to like play like a boat. a boat RPG, and Dragon Lords had so much time on the boat that was so much fun as being on the land. And I was like, ooh, this would be cool. And two, I really am bad. I At the time I started this, I was really bad with making maps. And I didn't want to make a world map. So this one
Oh,
so I said I'll make a world full of water and then fill in the
genius!
map with fill in the map with some major islands and then tiny islands that eventually evolved into, oh, I'll fill it with tiny islands.
Oh,
Like
that's genius,
Cardna
dude.
started as a single city and then evolved from a single city into several cities into a world into how it is now. And it all kind of started from what Clubs was saying before, that like 7 bullet point start of things. Where it's just like, okay, this is what I like. And I was like, I like naval exploration to some extent, I guess.
Yeah, that would be one of the bullet points of your game, right? It would be like naval exploration. I like naval exploration, and a majority aquatic map, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be absolutely one. You would put one for like, I think you would put one for mothership
Oh yeah,
mechanically,
Sorry.
right?
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. I loved that vibe of scrap of mission and like return to and failure. Like success of mission is really what rewards you, but surviving the mission is really the battle.
So that
Like,
would
oh,
be
you.
one of your inspirations,
Oh yeah.
and your pitch would be exactly that. That like completed missions give you experience, right?
Mm.
I mean, it's not technically that, but mechanically, maybe you just level up, you don't get experience or something. But you can rephrase it however you want. You can say like, uh, advance by completing missions, right? That's one pitch.
Mm.
Then there's um, aquatic exploration or naval exploration, the mission based. What else is there?
The horror theme, I guess, kind of ties into.
Horror,
I mean, if I kind of
horror.
called Mothership my
Those are three of your pitches, right?
Mm-hmm,
uh,
mm-hmm.
Your bullet points right there. So now when you need to answer any question about the development of this game, you have those pitches. I mean, those pitches. You'll collect 3 to 7 or whatever, and you'll have them to help reference as you're doing the rest of, because this is really for completing, it's not for making the mechanics of a game, it's for making the setting to start
mhm,
playing a game, right? So if you
yeah.
were going to use this for like one of the cities, like I don't know how the game is played, like maybe it's on a larger scale than what I'm thinking, but if it's anywhere near like D&D, like human scale 5-foot grid kind of shit, or even
Mhm,
10-foot grid like the game we sort of play.
yeah.
Mm.
But if you're down on the ground and you need to make, say, one of these cities, well, what is it like being in one of these cities in Cardna? You're going to have to come up with that, right? And you go, all
Mm.
right, week 1, what do I want this city to be about? I want it to be about fucking hidden shinobi
Yeah.
in sewers.
Yes.
I want it to be about fucking green slime that hurts you, but you can harden it into jewelry that is magical. I want fucking uh faction play. Like I want those ninjas to be a threat, but I want there to be like multiple factions that all want something for their own reasons, and so they don't fuck with each other, but the players can fuck with them, right? And then I want let's see, I want a big monster that is harassing like the whole area, and it's not like there's many monsters. There's this one monster that no one can deal with. And like that's one
Mm.
of the big like monster threat. Right? You come up with your pitch you or like it's not a monster that's fucking things up. It's like a god, right? I don't know the lore of your game,
Yeah.
but
I get what you're saying.
You just
It's
came up with
really
like such
fleshing
a
that out.
good world, just right
Yeah,
now.
you honestly have been cooking the entire time. That's why I was just like, I'm not stopping you.
Yeah,
Like,
keep going.
I was
Well,
like, I'm not gonna stop this man from
Ooze
cooking. This man is
jewelry, bro. That in and
yeah,
of
well,
ooze
itself is
jewelry.
like its own
so
thing.
You gotta understand though. I feel like Clubs. There's an unspoken part of you that just loves ooze stuff, like slime based.
well, you know, that's really funny you say that because that's one of my pitches for this place, right? This city is a slime-based jewelry and the slime is bad for you and stuff. But in reality, that's Red Steel, a TSR setting from Lacara
Mm.
where there's a red miasma and there's these like red rocks, and the miasma is really bad for you and will mutate you and shit. But these people mine the like red steel, the red ore, and make it into jewelry and wear it, and it absorbs the effects of the miasma. So like I just literally, you know, badly retold it with slime reflavoring
You
as an
call it
idea.
badly
Yeah,
retold.
yeah. You basically used the
Well,
quote.
but
You made it as
I don't
obscure as
think it's
possible.
badly retolding, but I mean, like, I inaccurately
Yeah,
retold this story with a whole other.
Oh,
I just
that's the
like
quote AWAS
recolored it
gave
from
too.
red to green, right?
Yeah.
And got it wrong. In Red Steel, the miasma and the ore are separate things. But when I say bad retelling, I just mean that I turned the slime and the jewelry into the same thing. But it totally works, and it totally, you know, you put that in your pitch, slime jewelry, right? And then in your inspirations, you write red steel. So now when you have a question about how this slime jewelry works, you can reference red steel because you have this list that says red
Hmm.
steel. I'm going to use it says in your notes red steel. I'm going to use this to answer questions about the green slime, right? Like,
mm.
so now you know how to make this, how to answer questions about it. Well, there has to be areas in this city of green slime. When it comes time for week 2 and I'm plotting special areas, there has to be a sewer entrance. There has to be some kind of fucking collapsed sinkhole or something that leads to this, or maybe a river of slime. And here we go. Right into
I just have
inspiration.
one question.
What's up?
How many dick goblins?
How many what?
How many dick goblins? Just
I can't hear you.
how many dick goblins? How many?
Oh, I
How
don't
many?
know. I haven't gotten there yet. But like Ghostbusters 2 has the river of slime.
Mm.
Well, a Babylonian river of slime beneath the city is absolutely something I can use as inspiration here. So Ghostbusters 2 becomes an inspiration for this sealed city, right? And now what else can you guys think? I mean, I'm gonna throw in there's like Elden Ring, there's like that poison ruin that's like tucked away in one part of the map that you can kind of find like that
You
instantly
need a
going
blight
into it.
town. Every game needs a blight town.
Mm.
Ooh, there you go. So
Yeah, you definitely need a place for status effects. Like, if you ever want to teach your team, hey, status effects are a real thing. You have to have that one place where it's just like, I'm so sick of status effects.
well, I can you guys think of anything that would be cool as a pitch, as a like bullet point for this, you know, like, or let's think of something else here.
Ooh,
Let's
okay.
think of a new area. Let's think of a new setting and let's try this. All right?
All right.
You don't have to go through all the weeks, but just coming up with a setting.
So we're gonna live craft a setting for people as a round
Yeah, why
table.
not?
This
Let's
is
fun.
cool.
It's gonna be fun. Let's do it.
So,
You
I
gotta
mean,
witness this
I
live,
have an
folks.
index card
We're
right
gonna
here. So
Gygax.
I'll write the important things.
I was gonna say I'm gonna grab a pencil and a notebook
Same.
So
page so I can make sure I scribble.
let's I think we can come up with individual bullet points individually, like we can each add our own, and they become real, but based, I mean, we should come up with like a basic concept that we all agree on. So I would say that the only thing I'm down for anything, but the only thing I'm going to say is that we should avoid trying to make vanilla Fantasyland, right? We shouldn't try to make Mystara or Forgotten Realms or something that is like vanilla, right? Because that's going to just be, while it's going to work, it's not going to be very fun to figure out if we're trying to come up with something that's already, exists. So
Yeah.
what sounds like a fucking vibe to all three of us, or to you two? I'll guide you two through doing this because I've
No,
done this.
you're here too now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will
now,
weigh
so.
in. Trust me, I will weigh in on the bullet.
I'm thinking if we're all working on it together, then like the first node has to be. It doesn't necessarily. When you said Elden Ring before, I was thinking, oh, like the lands between, but more as a concept where like stuff just ends up here.
Oh, like a sort of purgatory.
A
Yeah.
limbo. Okay, I like this.
Limbo.
I like
purgatory. But not necessarily, because you said washed up here. Do you mean like upon death, or you just mean like maybe are you thinking of like washing up on the astral sea or
Well,
something?
wait.
I was
Maybe
thinking
that's
the Menagerie and Elden Ring and Jokat's Golden K all have the same idea, and even technically Odyssey of the Dragon Lords is the same thing, where it's just like stuff that's sort of lost ends up there.
Okay, the lost and found world.
Yeah.
I think the catch to that would be, and maybe a point is to like a sub point to that would just kind of be, we don't have to tell the player how they got there. Maybe that's part of the first, like part of the whole pitch is you don't know.
So
but
that's
you're here.
Yeah, lost and found world. Things just end up here. Things like we'll get into how, but that leads me to, I almost wrote wash up here. Is it an island? Is it a
I think it's a world. I think it's a world in itself.
I like we can combine both of those. It's an island in the sense that it's in the middle of the astral sea.
Oh. Okay.
Island in astral sea.
Also, Lost and Found World. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna use that.
We have Elden Ring as a inspiration already, and we have Spelljammer, right? Instantly,
Yeah.
we can't ignore Spelljammer.
I think
Spelljammer gets love here.
What happened?
No, Spelljammer gets love here, he said.
Oh yeah, I like it too. So it's like being washed up on an island in Spelljammer, or in between the planes, right? Something like that, maybe.
I think it doesn't have to be a literal. I don't think we have to think of it as a literal island and the astral sea so much as a literal ocean, but maybe think of it as, if we want to call it like our limbo as well, we could even consider it in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So in the center of the astral ocean being that there's an upper and a lower layer that you're just unaware of.
Or
at the time,
like Destiny Islands, where it looks like there's water all around you, but it's only because like whatever happened to be around there is gone now.
So let's just reduce it to less specifics. It's remote and it's isolated.
This is why we have you here. To keep us on track.
Right? Like, because we can come up with the specifics.
Yeah.
It's remote and isolated. Like, you can't leave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we can come up with the specifics.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's 2 good bullet points. What do we think what is the terrain of this place? Is it a city that you can't leave? Does it have multiple biomes? I mean, we're starting with a small little area here. So what is the area that the players will be in? Let's focus on like actionable, gameable content. Because if we say like it's a full continent and it has every type of biome, that doesn't really help us immediately. Only the biome that they're going to play in really matters to this.
I kind of like wasteland ideas.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I like the idea of waking up in a wasteland and kind of just like realizing that there's nothing around for miles, maybe except your like there's really nothing around. Like that empty feeling of having to find what's out there. Not necessarily waking up to knowing exactly where to go.
All right, gotcha. Wasteland. We sort of had a sand vibe before for
Yeah,
Wasteland.
I'm thinking might as well do deserts. Makes the most sense.
So let's do Wasteland and Desert and Broken Lands, right? Those are cool too.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm thinking that show Into the Badlands that was on AMC. Like,
Oh,
Badlands.
what a good show.
Badlands.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one out there. How about this?
Hit it.
Well, first I'm gonna write Into the Badlands because that counts as inspiration, right? Like I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but we're gonna use it. How about this? This might be far-fetched. First of all, Conan, that'd be a good one for me. But what
That is a good
about,
one.
let's get nutty here, like sand ships, like
Ooh. Are we
Like-
talking Stargate?
like maybe you get lost in the like the players get lost in the desert. They wash up here in the desert. It's the place where people get washed up in the desert because outsiders get lost there or something, and you really need like sand ships to navigate it or something like that. Like we could really localize this and turn it from something that is like like more mystical into something literal if you wanted. But I think it'd be cool sand ships or riding like sand animals from Dune, right? Like they ride the sandworms.
I like the idea of the sand ship because just if we're pushing it forward to the next step as to why sand ships, well, that's just a great reason that the players stay together and travel together. They're all part of the same sand ship, so
natives
they stay
ride
on their ship.
How's that?
Okay.
And like
we got
maybe
one-
you have, and this is probably for a later week, but I'm thinking maybe it's like there's only certain people who can get the sand ships to go. They're like earthbenders, except they're using mold earth, and it only works on sand. Like it's their specialized ability because they've been living here for a while.
So let's say magic users pilot sand ships or something like that.
Magic pilots.
Magic users power sand ships.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
God, we're so good
Okay,
at
I like
this.
that.
That implies if you want a magic user, if you want a sand ship.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, that's really good because I was about to say let's tie it into something class because we asked about terrain, we asked about like what the fuck
smart.
is the vibe.
So like,
What about
if it's a new ship, if it's class based, if it's a new ship, like it's just a dude and they want to be protected, so they're looking for other people to join the ship so that they can pilot in peace.
Yeah.
Just treat a mage like a captain. That's all. You just swap the role of a captain. Swap the title or the word captain and put mage or whatever we want to call our magic user in this universe. Let's call it magic user for right now. Let's go old school.
All right.
Let's call it magic user for right now.
Well, yeah, we can
Straight
fix
up
it later,
Mahot
but right
Sky.
now, yeah. Right now, we'll say magic users. They could be called, wizard captains or whatever later.
Yeah. Call them magic users, and then everybody else. Now the question is everyone else magical? Is magic allowed outside of the captain?
Well, here's I got two questions. One, is there religion here?
Ooh. Always.
What is it? Let's not think about this place as like all the things we have already, because we're not trying to answer a question based on our list yet. We're trying to come up with entries to the list. So let's not let's not say, yeah, they have a religion, it's related to the desert, because that's like using the thing to like one entry to answer the other entry.
Yeah.
Just come up with like what is a cool vibe for religion. that we think would sort of fit.
Well, do we assume that? Do we want people to have? I guess if it's not religion, do we want some kind of like classification for the people outside
would
of just, or do you mean more just like religion as a whole?
I think religion as
Well,
a
I
whole,
mean,
because it's like part of society.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I'm
Like,
gonna
do they have
guess
a?
if everybody's lost, the most reasonable assumption is that they worship whoever like the first one was to pilot a sand ship, or the first person to like start a tent colony or something like that.
Mm,
But that's more pulling though from what we've got.
that's
Mm.
you can sort of rephrase it in a way though. That's good because you can say like in this place, they're like have mythology of the first people who've come there, right?
Mm.
Like
Mm.
that's their
Mm.
religion is the heroes, the first people who came to this place, like the first wanderers of the desert are
Oh,
are worshipped.
yes.
I can't hear those words together. Sorry, just whole lot of
I'm sorry.
PTSD. No, it's okay. I'm just joking, but
Yo, I'm
that
gonna
I
add. Oh, I'm sorry. Really quickly, that
yeah.
their constellations are like named after these wanderers.
Oh, that
Mm.
works.
Right? It tells the
So
tale, right?
so if we're looking at our inspiration for it, for to draw more from, obviously I think the Immortals from older D&D would be a good idea because we're not looking at necessarily divine beings so much as we're looking at people revered, right?
So, you know, what is a warrior here? What do they fight with? Are they like, do they have, maybe they have gladiators?
Mm.
Or
Okay.
maybe they have chariot fighters? Like, do they have knights? Like, what's the vibe? Like, giant scorpion wranglers? Like,
I'm thinking tribal because people are lost. They're gathering in like tribes in a
Mm.
way, and that in turn maybe making it caravans. So
ooh,
like
I'm thinking there's lots
we've
and
got
lots of
sand ships.
sand. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got sand ships. So why not giant sand? Instead of sitting cities, we say societies exist and people gather normally on these giant sand ships that exist. Thinking kind of, I mean, they botched it, but the idea of mortal instruments is the
That's
giant
yeah,
roaming
that's
cities.
what I was thinking.
But instead of it being like city-based combat, it's that these slow rotating cities exist on the sand because
so nomadic moving tent cities.
yeah,
Yeah.
or yeah, nomadic citadels, we'll call them in a weird way
Moving
almost.
citadels. Okay. So here's I like all of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lost and Found World, remote and isolated, you can't leave. Wasteland, desert, broken, badlands. Magic users, power sand ships as captains. Warship, the first wanderers use constellations as myths. Nomadic moving citadels. I'm gonna be honest with you. We only need 4. Let's get rid of Lost and Found World, remote and isolated. The last 4: Wasteland, Desert, Broken, Badlands, the magic users powering sand ships, the fucking worshipping the first wanderers, nomadic moving citadels. Like all of that is so compelling on its own, right?
Hmm.
You don't even need those other 2.
Yeah, I
Um,
like this.
there you go. Now you just try to find your influences on this stuff. What is inspiring you based on these things that I'm saying? Like I'm thinking of fucking Waterworld.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh, okay.
Instruments you
I
said, right?
Yeah, I was also thinking when you were asking about like how do I get a religion, I was really thinking about how obviously the immortals and stuff like that, but I was also thinking kind of like in Stargate, how they
Ooh.
kind of worked. I can't hear Sand not think a little Stargate. I know most people's go-to is Dune, but
I mean,
Bill
I love
Pullman.
Stargate, so I'm writing it down. We'll find a place for it.
Yeah.
But
And it makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
and now we think
That's
about
right.
this because I think that we sort of are missing one bullet. And we should come up with it actually, and it's like monsters, right? Like, what are monsters here? Are there monsters? Is it mainly fighting humans? Are we fighting beast men? Are we fighting like all types of shit? Are we not fighting
Well,
things? Is there
well,
only one monster in the desert? You know, that kind of stuff.
I think automatically, if you have people, you have conflict to some extent.
True.
There's
So
always going to be there's always going to be a group that doesn't fit the norm just because of the nature of society. There's going to be a group that doesn't fit the norm and may take it to a level of hostile. And obviously it's
so
our world, so we can do whatever we want, but
I like, how about warring tribes and aggressive wildlife,
yes.
right? It's not really going to be monsters. It's going to be like, or maybe we'll say giant wild,
Mm,
right? It's
Yeah.
I
going to
think
be
giant
giant
I'm
wildlife.
thinking
scorpions.
like what would be like if you lived in this society, the problem creatures would be things that can burrow through the sand. So like big
Mhm.
worms, a la Dune. I'm even assuming like basically bullets, like land shark type deals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already have boats, like land. I mean,
Yeah.
sea boats. So we should have sea sharks.
Yeah.
I think we can absolutely translate the ocean to sand a little bit if we
Yo,
Yeah.
wanted to even.
I think that could be a bullet of its own.
Sand ocean?
I keep thinking
Yeah,
of like the
ocean and
Langoliers,
sand.
but
Right?
it's realistically it should
Mm.
be the dudes from Tremors. The graboids, that's what they're called.
Graboids, yes. Yes.
Warring
I think the
tribes and giant, like like uh like giant sand versions of ocean creatures.
Yes.
yes. Yes. Okay. Getting caught by a giant sand kraken is going to be wild.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Well,
right. All right.
this is good.
This
We're cooking with gas right now.
Yeah, that's actually really good. That's a really, really good one. I actually think that's really good because let's see here. Okay, hold on. I need one more
is
bullet.
high.
And it's like, where are the adventures here? Like, are you being sent into dungeons? Are you are you fighting wars alongside the different tribes? Are
Okay.
you
Okay. I have an idea. Hear me out. Just from what you're going off of, and that's
you
just my initial
pirates?
idea. Couriers.
Oh, I was thinking
Your
it same track as you. Like you have to get from place to place because it's all desert. So like couriers work, but maybe there's like out further in the desert are like known landmarks of like buildings that fell through that sometimes people hang out at, and like you can courier things between them, sort of. Like those are your stopping posts.
I say couriers also because couriers creates marauders. And marauders creates danger for you as an option.
Mm.
And it allows you also the idea that the party can be, I guess, someone neutral to the world. Because just completely out of the context of the challenge, but I think that there should be some neutrality for the party of the world, aka your players, so they can decide, like an implied neutrality, so that they can decide what they are, and they can decide how people view them. I don't want to necessarily give them the title of, oh, well, you're all the, unless it's my campaign point, but like, this isn't, you're the apprentices of an evil wizard. This is
Right.
Lost World.
So, adventurers. Okay, you just said the fucking adventure. Okay, how about this? Dangerous ruins lie in the sands. Adventurers delve them, searching for a way back home, right? Because they can't leave the desert, right? Like there's ancient magics buried in the ruins, potentially.
Okay.
So now you have a reason to
Okay, I
delve,
like this.
and it becomes difficult because you have land sharks and what
It's-
have you are out there.
Exactly. You have to locate tombs or ruins or fallen cities, whatever you want those things to be, right? And so, I mean, fallen cities is actually really good because it doesn't immediately evoke dungeon, even though it is a dungeon.
Yeah.
But fallen cities, like the whatever you call them here, I guess PCs explore fallen cities for a means to return home.
Yeah, like once you mentioned like you can skin anything as a dungeon, doesn't necessarily have to be a dungeon. I had never thought of it that way, but I was watching a friend play through the end of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and you have to go through the Millennium Tower with Kiryu, which is like 100-floor office building, and it's just a dungeon, but it's standing up. Like it's just a dungeon.
Yeah. I mean, I brought it up last time, but in my current Dolmenwood game, the party is on a village crawl. They're crawling through a village. It is daytime. They are walking through a village, and each building is like a dungeon room. Essentially, it is like a dungeon, even though they're crawling through this village, and they're trying to be cautious, just like they would in a dungeon. They're using their like slow speed to creep through and take note of everything and try to listen, and just like they would
Sorry.
in a dungeon.
You said cautious.
I said what?
You said cautious, and that makes me
Yeah.
laugh.
Well, no, it is a little bit cautious. Ryan was afraid of this one tower that was covered in fungus. I mean, the whole village is just covered in like a fuzzy white cotton-like fungus. Ryan's wizard was afraid of this tower they were going into because it was a wizard's tower, and he can detect magic just by like touching something for 10 minutes. And we roll a die, and we roll a d6, and on a 6 he can detect magic. So after 10
But
minutes,
he's a young wizard. He's like level 2, so
yeah, he's like level
it
2.
makes sense.
It becomes a 5, I think, next level.
Oh, that's not bad. If he lives.
Yeah, if he lives. Well, he was there for like not even the whole 10 minutes because the fungus itself like reared up as like 8 tendrils with hooks on them and
Oh no.
immediately took him out.
Oh no.
This is the same fungus this is the same fungus town that killed me.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, his character died from a slime.
That's where your aversion to slime comes from.
No, slimes always take me out in one of his campaigns in some way, shape, or form. Slimes are mimics. He always finds a way. And it's not on purpose. It just happens to happen.
Level 6 slime.
Oh, I got mollywopped. But I died the way I was supposed to die. I say that again.
A hero.
Aww.
A friar.
What a nice guy you are.
Well,
Oh no, it sucks for the party. Nobody else can heal.
well, so back to this challenge here. This is exactly how you use this thing. You come up with all these bullets, you come up with your inspirations, and now you sort of have an idea of this place. I'm sure we're all like, I just dove back into this after talking about what we talked about, and you can still picture this sand boat or the sand ship place and whatever we just came up with, because we were able to sort of piece by piece imagine it and put it together and write it down. And now it's a thing, and it's actually great. Freaking warring tribes and giant sand versions of ocean creatures like sand sharks and shit, uh, like a sand kraken. Come on,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
evocative. Then
Yes, yes. Awa said, Floam, it's not slime, but it's close enough. Those are our slimes. Yes.
yeah, Floam. And
Well,
then
they're definitely fair.
And like
so
the mimics are the equivalent of flotsam and jetsam.
Mm,
People stop their boats to like
Mhm.
go grab stuff, and it's alive.
Oh yeah, like I see what you're saying. Yes. So you go to touch like some quote unquote wait, is this a quicksand? Is this a
Oh, I hadn't
quicksand
thought of that.
desert?
wait,
Hmm.
what's that?
A desert of quicksand?
Maybe that's how some people find the dungeons. There are areas that are quicksand, but like it's almost like a an underwater cave where like there's air underneath, so some people get sucked in. Okay, I just made Wang Shitong's the library, but same idea. Like
And
there are just areas that are quicksand, but you wouldn't know unless you got sucked into it.
yeah,
I could see that.
yeah, quicksand fields or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and caves
Quicksand
beneath
fields,
them.
definitely quicksand fields. You have to venture. Oh, so that means that there's people trained to enter the quicksand.
Yeah.
There
Well,
they have like
Spelunk.
the if you're an adventurer, yeah, you have like essentially this world's version of scuba diving gear. Like that's what you keep on your boats.
Yes, because this is sand ocean. So we have to have scuba diving to some extent, which means there might be bigger caverns in large places that equate to certain styles of ships. But we can get to that later, obviously. But it implies, I think, also that there's people who know how to make these ships, right?
yeah.
I think you brought up class before, clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a fair part to bring it, as class. There's people who can repair this. Why not make the classes people that you would want on a crew for a ship of this nature?
There
Since
you
most
go.
people are probably going to train that way, right? It doesn't necessarily
Yeah, I
mean
mean,
that like
I
the captain
personally,
makes all the decisions as a player, but
would like to look at like the style of game it would be, because I sort of would want to keep adventurers, if it is an adventurer thing, to be adventuring classes. If
oh,
like if we have like captain, gunner, I don't know, I'm just like making
Those
up
could be
stuff,
like
and
your
like,
no.
backgrounds as opposed to your class. You mean like that?
Ooh, okay.
yeah, see, that's better,
I
because
like
I don't
that.
want to
I
leave.
like that.
Yeah, that's better. But I also really like the
It's
idea of
reverse
like,
Disney's Atlantis. Well, no, it's just Atlantis in the
It is
sand.
Atlantis.
I mean, it's a
Sandlantis.
lot of things. It's giving everything.
Yeah.
uh
It really.
you can really find a lot of things in here, and that's kind of the beauty of this, because you use your inspiration column to then define it further with things like that. Throw Atlantis in there, throw fucking, I don't know, whatever you want in there. And it just is like two layers that help you answer all the rest of the questions. um just because we only covered the first week, let's look at the second week. How about that?
Sounds good.
Week
Okay.
2. Week 2.
Week
I'm not going to read
2.
the Gary Gygax quote. But
I feel like we
There's
we went
also
so hard on week 1.
yeah. There's also extra credit here, which they say assemble a mood board. If any of you just in general want to assemble a mood or an interest board or anything like that, the person to talk to in Okamigakure is Valley of Ajiria, because she makes a Pinterest board of inspiration for literally anything and everything that happens in her life. So if you ever need help with that, she's the one to talk to. And then practice your pitch. That's what we're doing now. And here's a griffin.
yeah, very
Here's
Bronze
the
Age looking
pitch.
kind of.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Week 2.
Here we go.
I think this is another really good week. I like doing this stuff. My favorite part is gonna be in the extra credit. But anyway, so I like hex maps, but you don't need to use a hex map. I like hex maps because I play a game in which hex travel is easy for me. So if you have a game in which you can be like, whatever travel method that your game uses, do make that kind of map. This says hex map, but I think hex is very good. In this particular case, I would say that because desert and quicksand all sound like really slow things, you don't even need a very big hex map, because right, like if you're moving slow through the desert,
You're
you're gonna
moving
not
slow
get
and
through
like
very many
everyone's
hexes.
scared to explore.
Yeah. So you start with something small, and what this says is to get that hex paper set up and then make one large settlement, which is like a city, 2 other settlements. I mean, it says define large however you like. I'm going to say like a city or something,
So
right?
one
Like,
of our moving cities.
exactly. Ooh, that'd be great. A moving, yeah, there you go. Then 2 other settlements. One could be like an oasis, and the other could be like, I don't know, a market. One major terrain feature. This says covering 3 hexes. So this could be a lot of things. This could be like
The whirlpools.
the quicksand,
Ooh.
whirlpools, right? Or it could be a mountain right in the smack center of this area, or like a plateau, right? Like something weird like that too. One mysterious site. That could be something that we pull from themes. It could be a crashed sand ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or an abandoned settlement, like these
Oh,
giant
yeah.
settlements. We could make it, because I feel like the next 2, the mysterious site and the dungeon entrance, could be kind of hand in hand in a weird way.
Yeah, maybe
like,
you're
so
exploring this abandoned settlement. Like all the sand ships that let it move are still attached, but everyone is gone.
yeah, that's a good idea for like a first dungeon in this world to really drive home the point of like what it is like that makes this place unique is like the first quote unquote dungeon is one of these citadels that is like abandoned, and why, right? That would be good. Or like a place, a settlement in general, why is it abandoned? Or it doesn't have to be a ruin, right? Which is like the standard dungeon.
Right.
And then you key the map. Obviously, you should do that.
Yeah, Watsy. Take notes.
Watsy joke. But extra credit, forget pimp your map. You could definitely do that if you want to, but that's not what I want to talk about. The random encounters table. This is, I don't know if this is good advice or not. Make a 2d6 table. There's some
That's great advice.
theory
What are you
behind
talking
that. I just like a random table. I understand that having a like bell curve where 7s, 8s, and 9s come up a lot, so that's your most common thing to happen.
Oh.
You put your dragon at 2, and your really, really, really good thing at 12. You know.
I gotcha.
So, and then you put your like neutral or very common stuff in the middle. But I just like having the swinginess of like a D10 or a D12 or a D20 even. Personally, that's a style thing. Again, not the focus of what I'm going to say, but coming up with the random encounters table is truly where it starts to come alive because you start to put like, okay, sand raiders, right? Entry 1, sand raiders. Entry 2, sand sharks. Entry 3, sand kraken. Right? You're building this world, all the things that you can find.
Oh yeah.
What else? You'll put one of each tribe that you come up with,
Oh,
right? Like this is the freaking uh really religious hairless brotherhood. Um whatever. You know, like you make up your weird factions that are inspired by the things that you like. You put them all on there. You put your giant fauna, your giant fish, sandfish, and suddenly you have like a random encounter table is in a way a misnomer because it sounds random, but it's really shouldn't be.
Yeah, like the
When you
stuff that's
manicure it,
appearing should all be like native to that world, native to that area.
Oh yeah, because it
exactly.
helps build out
Exactly.
it helps build out the idea for what your players know as this place.
Mhm. It should be random that it's occurring then
Sand
at that
mites.
place or at that moment. It
Mhm.
shouldn't be random like what it is, like why is there this thing here that doesn't belong there. But I do think it is good advice to maybe put some things that are out of place because
Mm.
those
Because you could tell a
things could
story with it.
exactly. So having something like a new dragon in the area of where there are no dragons, that is something that you can do. Or you know, putting a group of people who are refugees in this area and aren't part of the tribes, right? Like something like that.
Mm.
And
Also,
you build this. Yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like the running into different tribes makes so much sense. Like in Horizon Forbidden West, you get introduced to more tribes in this game than you did in the first game. But the vast majority of the people that you're interacting with are from one tribe, and these guys are everywhere. It doesn't matter whose territory you're in, you only run into this new tribe. And I'm like, doesn't make sense. Why are these guys here? They don't live here. There's no reason for them to be here.
Mm. I'm
Like
not
their
as
tribe's
familiar
whole
with
thing
what they
is
did.
I kill people when I see them. And I'm like, why are you here? Somebody would be dead.
Well, I think there's some idea that like it's like a power fantasy, I guess is the best way to put it, right?
Hmm.
Where like we have to have that super like I think of the movie Bug's Life and Ants. Like we had to have the
Mmm.
grasshoppers or we had to have, it couldn't just be that the bugs all recognize that they live in harmony. No, we have to have that
You
antagonist
definitely
bug.
need a
Like I said
conflict.
before, yeah. It's the one group that doesn't feel all the other groups are doing it are really living in the peace and harmony that they think they are sometimes. That skeptical group sometimes you get it. It really depends. The motive, I think, all depends on what you want the conflict of your story to be, obviously. But I think that's dope to start with.
Now, Awa said sand mites. I'm thinking that's the starter encounter. A merchant
And
sand
like
ship gets
great.
attacked, and you have to stop, instead of goblins, you have to stop the sand mites from overrunning all their cargo.
Yeah, sand mites is really cool because maybe that's exactly it. Maybe they don't even like maybe they're not a big deal for people, but there's a lot of them, and if they attack a ship, like they could do a lot of damage or something.
Maybe
It's a
they're like
problem.
rust monsters in a way, like they'll eat your ship.
Yeah,
I'm not saying your ship
sand.
has to be made out of metal, but the same idea. Maybe they eat wood or something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe
Whatever
they're
your ship
sand
is.
termites.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
So like then they become like they take the place also of the giant rats. Like they're taking your food, they're taking your space, they're taking your stuff. Gotta get rid of them.
Well, yeah, because supply is obviously in between whatever these giant settlements are, or small outposts that fill
That was a good one.
the empty space. I think definitely want to resupply and make sure that you have enough to get from space to space, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Because obviously you're gonna have to have food and
That
survival.
can go on your random table for sure. Like, oh, there's an infestation of sand termites in your ship. What do you do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or you ran into, or do it the Oregon Trail style. You ran into sand termites. Like they rolled, that was their random encounter. They ran into sand termites. Roll a d12, see how much food you've lost.
That too. I'm even
Instead of
thinking maybe like where that sand whirlpool is. Like there's one specific creature. It doesn't have to be the sand termites or the sharks, but there's a specific creature that is very scary to people. But if it's there, it means like one of those underground areas is nearby. So like people go and hunt them
Mm.
sort of so that they can get down to the delve.
instead of sand worms, sand whales,
Yes.
and they could
Yes.
breach and kind of like
I
jump up out of the sand, and that can be where like they are, right?
Yeah,
like
because
killer
they need
sand
to be
whale.
they need more area. Yes. Perfect. Oh my god.
I ship
So
this.
This is chef's kiss.
What we do.
there you go. You make this whole, you know, encounter list, and you do things like that. You don't just write 1d3 sand whales. You write 1d3 sand whales breaching above, a newly created cavern or whatever.
What is this lizard called, Awaz? I know exactly. This guy's so good. What
The Baswala?
is it? Is it the one that bites
Hmm.
its own tail and rolls?
Oh no, I was thinking of the one that runs real funny and has a water variant.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Because I'd imagine that has to exist in a giant form, and that probably like herds of those just run across the sands, and you're just like, what the hell do we do? You want to steer them away from your ship though, because they'll run right through your ship.
So week 3, and I think the rest is not something we really need to get into, because I don't think it's pertinent to every style of game. I think the first 2 you can use for any style of game, but I don't know if every style of game uses dungeons, and in particular uses dungeons the way that this advises you to use dungeons, because this is very much like a classic, in quotes, version of doing the game.
I got you.
Because you have to understand that like dungeons were the killer app of this game at the time. Like
Yeah.
if this was a game engine, Dungeons and Dragons, dungeons themselves were what fucking blew everyone's mind at the time, because they were all war gamers. They played outdoor survival, which was like a hex wilderness travel, fucking, what do you call it? You just said it, Oregon Trail type game where you
Yeah.
traveled over a hex map. In fact, OD&D, the original Dungeons and Dragons, in like what do you need to play this game? It said you need a copy of Outdoor Survival to use the hex map so that you can have a hex map for your world, right? Because people weren't making their own
Oh.
hex maps.
We already did
So
the first task in week 3 anyway. If our dungeon
Yeah.
is the Titanic city that's open, like anywhere that a normal entrance would be, or you can climb up on one of the sand ships that helps slide it around.
Well, so, but what I mean by like dungeons is that this is gonna say like make 3 levels and include X amount of rooms on that level.
Oh
And
yeah.
like, to be completely honest, there are some people who are veteran DMs that just like a 5-room dungeon. There are some people who have been playing for years and don't use dungeons. Like there are different styles of games, and you can maybe adapt this advice to your style of game without doing it word for word. Like, I play this style of game, so I will do this. I will do 3 levels and because I play quote unquote the classic game.
Yeah.
So this is for my style, but it's not for everyone's style, admittedly.
Yeah, I'd say like for me, like in designing Cardinal, yes, it has dungeons. There are some, I guess, what you would consider kind of like classic representations of dungeons in that sense. But there's also a lot of dungeons in the sense of outdoor super spaces.
Yeah.
Or places that are formerly populated in a way that, now the lack of people, as we said before, makes this place a little bit more eerie.
I think one of the coolest
And
things that you've come up with in Cardna is like this point like includes several ways up and down per level. Like your, I was about to say toilet system. Nope. Your sewer system. There we go. Like that you can pop out of a manhole somewhere or go down a different manhole down into the quote unquote dungeon area is super well thought out, man.
Well, I adapted it from the idea of like France is known for having a super sewer system underneath itself. The catacombs and everything like that, they're allegedly connected. And I think that I thought that idea was really cool. And I also thought, well, hey, old cities and current cities even, the sewer travels underneath your city at all times. Like, you don't think about it, but there's an active sewer system beneath your living quarters right now, wherever you are. There is an active sewer system just under there. And while there's not a team of adventurers hopefully occupying said sewer, the idea that, hey, if you find an exit, no one designs one exit. And even if I feel like for a dungeon, you could design just a single exit, one way in, one way out. That's totally fine. But my sewer being a dungeon means, well, they're going to have more than one way in, one way out, I feel like. And that's why it is designed that way. So that, you guys accidentally stumbled in there? Yes. It's like, you accidentally fell in, well, or you accidentally found this entrance and now you're kind of stuck there. Well, yes, you're stuck there, but find a way out. Or go back the way you came.
Yeah.
But now know that this exists.
The theme thing. I'm with you on that. Just make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, don't just slap it in there. Just
monsters make sense. I would say monsters sometimes you can just slap in whatever. Because supposedly this place has been here for a long time. Maybe monsters just came and settled in. Like the dungeons in that time I got reincarnated as a slime. When they're building the dungeon, like whoever he chooses as the floor master, just like related enemies just sort of show up to live in the dungeon after that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, dungeons are interesting, like actual standard typical dungeons. You can come up with like lots of reasons why. Eventually, or people have come up with lots of reasons why. In the beginning, they just released dungeons that were like, there's this many monsters in here, there's this dungeon in here, and they were kind of called what are they called? Funhouse dungeons? Like monster hotels. Monster hotels. That's their
Monster hotels. That is.
I feel like that means something totally different in our internet age.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe.
Well, in today's day and age, that
I'm looking straight at AWAS.
Yeah, I was like staring at AWAS through the screen, knowing that AWAS may or may not be sending me a literal definition of a monster hotel. And
Well, a monster hotel was like, when there'd be a minotaur in one room and next door would be a vampire, and they're like, why are they neighbors? Like, this doesn't make sense.
yeah.
But there's lots of ways that you do this, and sometimes it's up to you. Like, well, the boss of the dungeon is an evil cleric. He called them all here, duh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
or something like that. But later they tried to focus more on like dungeon ecology, which is like you can make this a joke about that is like they worried about where the inhabitants all pooped, right? How does the minotaur get food if he's trapped in a labyrinth?
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
put
if he
this,
was-
he eats sturges that nest in one part of the labyrinth and can get out, but he can't climb out that way. Right? Like that's some people get a lot of fun doing the dungeon ecology. I rather do a monster hotel personally because
I was gonna
can
say, I
we just
think you're definitely more monster hotel than you are ecology.
yeah, like
Not in
I
a
want to
bad
spend
way.
my time being like, oh, he eats the sturges. That's why he's there. No. I just want to be like sturges, fucking minotaur, fucking Nosferatu, fucking
But
evil plant.
but
I'm done prepping.
I think though that for you at least, like as someone who's played in your game, right? So I can say this. But at you as much as you like to Monster Hotel, I feel like it's not nonsensical Monster Hotel. Like you have some level of
Oh, I theme
theme
things.
to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I follow the theme, right? Like, so while I just kind of I don't worry about explaining things, I'm doing things like this where I have a list of 12 things that all go together, and they're
Yeah,
all
you're not
themed together.
like you're not gonna exclusively say like, oh, these zombies work for Strahd. That's why they're here. If we're playing Barovia.
Yeah, no,
But
there's just zombies here in
there's
Strahd's
no zombies. Yeah.
castle. Yeah.
Like they're here because they live here. And this is
And like,
Barovia. And there's
first
zombies.
of all, why do we need to know that? Why do the players need to know why they're here? And why do I need to write it beforehand? Right? Why do I need to come up with like they're here because Strahd has has turned them and now he controls them and now they walk up and down this room. Like, dude, just fucking put them in the room. What else could they be doing?
Yeah.
The party finds them, they're in the room, and the party, if they can talk to them, if they for some reason can talk to these zombies, and they say, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" They go, "We work for Strahd. We're gonna eat you." Right?
Yeah.
Like you just say that, and that's it.
Yeah. Then you turn, but they're jobbers. They're just freaking
Yeah.
jobbers in the moment. They don't need to have the deepest backstory,
Yeah.
the darkest lore, unless you want them to. Unless your
Well,
entire pitch is that the zombies in here are the souls of the people you're looking for. Well, there you go.
Yeah. I
You
feel
wrote
as
that.
a DM, I'm 100% on Clubs' side, but I feel like depending on your players, sometimes it's your players that are like, I have to know, and that's really the
No, they
only
don't.
time you gotta
yeah,
you
I
gotta
mean,
think about
I
that.
agree. You definitely get some players that say that, and at that point, I think you have to be like, well, how are you gonna figure it out? Like, do you
Mm.
have like speak with undead or speak with dead? Like, kill them and ask them, right? Like, and they're like, oh no, I don't have that spell, and it's like, okay, well, cut off their head and carry it around until you do.
Yeah. My
Um,
players would do that.
well, and then you have like how many sessions to fucking figure out what they're gonna say?
True.
Oh yeah. That's a different way to just to get around the problem. Though.
That's the secret. That's the secret. The secret is whenever someone wants to do something that you don't have prepared, you turn it into a hook.
I
You,
like this.
if someone's like, I found this scroll, what does it say? And you're like, oh, it's a holy scroll. And they're like, oh, well, I like, what does it say? And it's like, well, can you read this holy fucking thing? And it's like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know that the monks at this abbey nearby can. And they're like, okay, well, I'll have to do that soon.
Look at
Right? And then
these are
in
real
between
DM tips out
games,
here, okay?
what happened?
These are real DM tips out there, okay? Okay?
Make everything into a hook. Don't make everything like, you know, it just makes more game. It makes natural game, and your players are
Yeah.
like, okay. When they're like, what do we do next? And it's like, well, after this, I want to go to that abbey. And then you're like, okay, like after this session, I got to start preparing that abbey,
Mm.
And
right? Like,
if they choose not to go there next session, don't throw that information away. Use it later.
yeah, don't throw it away. I have an issue
Yeah.
where if I prepare something and then let's say our Thursday game falls through on Thursday, then that shit is fucking wiped from my brain. Basically, I lived it anyway. It's like a wash. It's a complete wash. So I really prep in a few minutes the day of, because if it ends up we can't play, I will, like, any time I spent on that, I lost.
You like clear your
It's gone.
cache.
It's just gone. Yeah, he has a 24-hour cache and it's cleared now.
It's basically like once the time of the event happens, my brain just excises the event at the appropriate. It's like 7:45, and like all the information starts slowly disappearing over the course of the next 3 hours when it would have normally come up in the game. It's very bizarre. I wake up the next day going, "Ah, okay, I'm glad that's over with," but I didn't actually play the game. You know, like basically, if I prepare for a game and the game doesn't happen, then my brain still ejects the information as if it did the next morning. So I need to turn everything into a hook, but in all fairness, it's a fun way to play because now everyone is having things that they want to do, and you create a kind of like real world. One thing that the game we play does in its world in the campaign book, like that describes all the places and the people and stuff, is it always says that for like most places, gaining an audience with XYZ NPC takes a certain amount of days. Like it takes 1d3 days to make an appointment with the mage in the wizard in the town, right? So you show up to their house and you're like, I want to see the wizard, and the wizard servitors are like, come back in 2 days. And you're like, okay, I'll come back in 2 days. And that's just a great way to be like, you have to do something else for now. You know what I mean? Like, we know that you're going to talk to the wizard. Like, it's another really helpful tool to have in the tool belt, is that like you can answer questions extremely thoroughly. You don't have to answer them when they're asked.
That's a very, yeah, that's really good.
And make everything a hook.
I like this.
And
spreading features I'm just gonna ignore, but for each room area, note any treasure, and then it says you can roll on the table, but do the treasure like at the beginning before you actually are playing the game. And it's the first time I've ever seen someone mention that, because anytime I'm reading like an adventure or what have you that has like a treasure table, they're like, oh, roll once your players get there. And I'm like, but then I have to figure out how this works for me to be able to give it to them so they can use it.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. It's like, I think that you should roll ahead of time, but it is fun for players to roll on like the table, in my opinion. So I love when I do come across like, in this chest is a treasure, roll it. But otherwise, I want to roll ahead of time because maybe the enemy has the magic item, right? Like
Ooh, yes.
when it's like these goblins have a magic item, then roll it, and if it's a wand that they would use against the party, give it to them. Right? If it's
Yeah.
something that they would use.
And like your players want to steal shit from the enemies anyway, so give it to them
Oh yeah.
first.
Yeah,
I'd be
they're gonna
concerned
get it.
if I had a party. If my party didn't want to loot, I'd be concerned. I'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
So instead of having just like every goblin family with a treasure chest behind them, sometimes that happens, sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes you roll for loot and you get a lot of coins. Well, that's what goes in the treasure chest.
Hmm.
But D&D, I mean D&D, that doesn't really explain anything to you. This was probably written for a retro clone of Basic Expert, BX D&D, which is like more 70s 80s D&D, and in it there is specific rules for crafting a dungeon as well as stocking the dungeon, and these sort of mirror those rules where you first go through and like put in your handmade stuff, right? Like I want a special monster to lair in this dungeon. I'm inventing this monster homebrew for my dungeon. I'm going to place him here. I also think that I want a special magic scythe to be in the dungeon, and it's going to be Egyptian, and it's going to give you the power to shoot stars out your pee hole. So I'll put that here, and then everything else you roll to stock the rest. And there is like a table where it's like roll a d6. On a 1, the room is empty. On a 2 and 3, it's something else. I think it's like on a 1 and a 2, it's empty. On a 3 and a 4, it's a monster. On a 5, it's a trap. And on a 6, it's special. And then for each of those, you roll a d6 again. And on an empty room, a 1 means it has treasure. The rest means there's no treasure in that room. A 1 and a 2 mean that a monster room has treasure, and that means that the monster is guarding the treasure or has it, right? And then a trap has a chance, as like on the 1 and a 2, the trap is guarding a treasure. And then on a special room, there's no chance because the special room probably has like a portal or something like a puzzle in it, right? Because it's a special room. So like literally the game itself tells you this is how you stock a dungeon. So there's guidance in the game like how to make the places that you have to go into to play the game. And so this is why it's giving you sort of dungeon stocking advice, because not only is it telling you how to make a dungeon, but it's sort of probably assuming that you're going to be following the steps for a similar type game that has that included, and so it's following loosely those steps. Yeah, for whatever reason, they included how to stock a dungeon in the rules of the game, which is I think very helpful. But
yeah, especially if you're like new to it.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. The funniest thing is that they did not think that people wanted to buy a dungeon or an adventure from in the beginning. They thought, or like a setting. They thought that that would be the fun for the DM or the GM or the referee at the time. They thought that like why would anyone bother to buy a dungeon we make or a setting we make? Like that's what they're going to be doing already. They have to do that to play the game. But they really didn't understand that the game wasn't very well explained when it was first released. So people had to make assumptions, and there were implied things in the rules and stuff. The rules, I mean, like the people who started Dungeons and Dragons were playing a very different game than you imagine they were. They were war gamers, but they started playing these games called Brownsteins, where they all took on different roles within a town. The very first Brownstein was like 20 people, and the roles were like
Holy
student
crap.
A and revolutionary protester and dean of the college and army officer and so on. They were literally roles, not classes and not characters, but like roles that these people were in, and they had goals, and they talked to each other, and they tried to, you know, say that like, okay, we're over here talking about this, we're over here talking about this, and there was like a central tension, and all these people sort of made decisions for the people in there to try to either resolve the tension or bring the tension to a certain point or whatever. And yeah, basically,
It almost seems like games like Werewolf actually came out of the original games.
like which game?
Like Werewolf?
Oh, like werewolf.
Oh, well, you know, I think very much the original games were like pure decision making style role play in a way of
Mm.
like um they like at there were no dungeons at first. There were no monsters. These were being played. The reason why they're being called war games, even though they're being played this Bronstein way, is because they took place in, albeit fictional, but like Prussian towns, right, during wars,
Mm.
where they had real historical settings, even though they were in this fictional town, a real historical time period and in a real historical location, and they made up their own scenarios that were technically war scenarios, but they weren't amongst troops on a battlefield. They were amongst real people in the town.
Mm.
Isn't
And
that kind of? Oh,
no, go
sorry.
on.
No, I was gonna say, isn't that kind of why later on, once TSR and everything got established, we even had those? Would you say that's like maybe why we even had those settings that were literally just you're a Roman soldier, you're a centurion in a Greek
Yo,
army kind of
a
settings?
that's AD&D second edition. And AD&D second edition, I know a lot of people like it, but at the time, at the end of first edition, AD&D first edition, they kick Gary out of TSR. They fire him, and there's a takeover, and second edition comes out, and second edition they have to start pumping out books, so they make splat books, they're called, for everything. There's a thief book, a fighter book, a magic user book, a cleric book, and then there's also DM books. There's like catacomb book, villain book. Some of them are very good. I have the thief book and the catacomb book, and some are just like, what the fuck can you say about all this? They have just like kits in them, which are like, yeah, you could be a fighter, or you could be a barbarian using this kit, or you could be a ranger using this kit, or something like that. And but they were more specific. Maybe it was like gladiator and shit like that, right? But then they also came out with the historical splat books and so on and so forth. This was a lot later. This was in second edition. In first edition, I think they already started to come out with stuff like Greyhawk. They had a
Yeah.
Greyhawk box set. They had, because the original OD&D, the little pamphlets, the two supplements that came out for that, there's a Blackmore supplement and a Greyhawk supplement, but they really weren't about the setting, even though their names were that. They were really just house rules that Gary used for his game, the Greyhawk one, and Dave Arneson used for his game, the Blackmore one. They did not describe the settings of Greyhawk or Blackmore, really. They just
Wasn't what?
used alternative rules. Like Greyhawk included the thief for the first time, and Blackmore included something
Oh.
else. Yeah.
Well, I think that's also why some people I've heard say that, like, and I, especially one guy I know, I've shared like 1,000 videos of his with you clubs.
Yeah.
But he brought up a good point that he said that the big thing that destroyed a lot of early tabletop and especially early D&D during that like big schism after, like after TSR really shysted Gygax and Arneson was already out there hurt and plotting revenge, and Gygax was now on a different wavelength and everyone was around and available, was that you became a fan of the setting. Not You weren't a fan of D&D, you were a fan of the setting. So like you were a fan of Blackmore, you were a fan of like you weren't necessarily a fan of
Oh, you were a fan of
D&D.
Dragonlance. You were a fan of Greyhawk. Yes,
sense.
100%. Because at the time, to reiterate, Dungeons and Dragons is a game engine, right? Like to them, you didn't say we're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons tonight. You said the name of the game you were gonna play with Dungeons and Dragons that night. You said we're gonna play Greyhawk tonight. We're gonna play Blackmore tonight, right? Because just saying Dungeons and Dragons is like, that's not a game yet. You need to make a whole world for it and stuff. You need to define the rules. Dungeons and Dragons gave you classes, but like what classes are in your world? What classes, like all that stuff. Yeah. They said
It wasn't uniform like we consider 5e and 3. Like that's 3. I'd say third edition is probably, no, I'd say advanced. The second edition tried, but it still had 1,001 settings. I would say third edition is probably where we started to see a little bit more of I'm
I
a
think
fan of D&D.
yeah, I don't know. I watched that video the other day, but I don't remember the one where he went through the default settings of each edition.
Yes, yeah.
Which I can only really think of, like, 4th edition had Nenter Vale, but I'm not sure that was the
Eberron.
default setting.
Eberron was third edition, right?
So yeah, Eberron
No,
was
Eberron's
third.
fourth, right?
No,
Eberron's
one of
third.
them.
One of them.
5th, the default is Forgotten Realms. Beckme, the default was Mystara.
Yes.
I don't know about 2nd edition or 1st edition.
I think second edition's default. It's not
Grey.
I don't want to call it.
It might not have been Greyhawk because again they kicked the Gygax out. Maybe it was Dragonlance.
Well, yeah, was it Dragonlance and Kryn? Because 2nd, 3rd edition is
I
when
think it was Kryn.
All the books came out for Kryn.
Yeah.
Well, the
that
big problem with
pants off, by the way.
Well, that and also is also when they start to license themselves out to make CRPGs. A lot of the classic crawler RPGs, and that's when we started to get the silver box, the gold box, which were all bundled with a specific setting. So there was Dragonlance, then there was like the Dragonlance saga. It was Kryn and the Kryn saga. Like it was specifically those that they tried to bundle it as. I remember because I've played a lot of those. I have a sick addiction to them.
Yeah. I think Greyhawk is pretty compelling as a setting. Dragonlance is very interesting because I like the setting. It's pretty vanilla, although
I hate Dragonlance.
It's why? Because it's very vanilla.
No, I'll let you go, and I'll go. I cut you off in the middle of the statement by saying I hate it, but
I've tried to read the first book like a bunch of times and bounced off of it, but I think it's charming. I think the problem I have with Dragonlance is that I guess the people who want to play it are the people who were able to read the book and really like it, and that was the problem. Is maybe I don't want to recreate any book. Like, I don't want to retell the events of something happening. I don't want to include NPCs that you love because I didn't
Mhm.
get attached to them. I bounced off.
I
I
feel
want to
ya.
just play a separate story in the world. If
Mhm.
if that's not intriguing to someone who played through the books, because I'm pretty sure that the official modules for Dragonlance, because a lot came out, I think, in the 80s, all like follow plot points of books and stories and stuff, and go
Yeah,
through events.
there's interconnection. It's
Yeah,
essentially it's the difference between you saying I want to make a TTRPG in the world of Avatar, The Last Airbender, right? You, and everyone automatically assuming, oh, so we're teaming up with Aang and like the main characters, but your whole goal was to just say, no, I really just wanted to make everyone some kind of bender
yeah,
and just film it in that world. But instead, they're like, no, you can only play with these people on your team, though. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
meet Aang, you have to
Yeah,
meet
it's like
Katara.
the adventures themselves are like this NPC is gonna do everything, and you hang out with them.
Mhm.
From what I understand, so like
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to run that style of game, but I think that the world is charming. There's other settings that I would much rather play, like at the aforementioned Greyhawk. I would be interested in that with its gods and stuff.
You would,
I would be
Fist.
into Dark Sun for sure, Spelljammer
Oh,
for sure.
we need that dark
Not
side
really
stuff.
big into Planescape. Don't want to run that. I would play in it. Don't want to run it. Um,
Planescape's a lot to manage.
it
Planescape's a
just
lot to
became like
manage, and
not about fighting, and it just came all about like I don't know, puzzles and
yeah.
railroady adventures stuff. Just
Well,
like
I
that's
like
kind of why I don't
suffering.
like
I'm itchy.
that's why I don't like Dragonlance a lot, because it's that, but it's also this whole dragon fantasy where every single player wants to just ride a dragon. Like,
hey man, we played Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, and every
and
single
that
player
was
rode a
dope.
dragon.
And that was dope.
You don't want to be a
But
purple knight?
that was something that just happened out of nowhere.
Ah,
Like, there
Yeah.
was nothing that said in the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords that gave me any inclination that I would ever be riding a dragon. In fact, most times, and I don't want to spoil anything because I know, Kami, you're playing through it right now.
Hmm.
But most times, when you encounter a dragon in any TTRPG, they're either antagonistic or neutral to you as a party, unless they specifically need something or are written the way to be that they are beneficial. And while there's nothing wrong with the idea of having your own pet dragon, I don't necessarily want to play How to Train Your Dragon, the TTRPG, myself, and that's me. That's
Oh,
the
I
way
see
I
what
feel
you're
about
saying.
Dragonlance. I like my dragons with a certain level of like regality to them, and like mysticism, and a little bit of like honor and like legendary status to them. Not so much like, oh hey, is that your dragon? This is my dragon. This is my dragon. Check out that dragon. Like, everyone's just flying down the street and kids are like, oh, that's your dragon, like they're looking at your bike. I don't like that.
Hmm. I
And
feel
that's the
like
vibe I got from Dragonlance a little bit.
like Dragonlance, the idea that there's everyone, like, they keep talking about how it's so hard to find a dragon egg, but like every bad guy is one of those draconians that's a corrupted dragon egg, and I'm like, how did you find a clutch of 8 million eggs to have all these bad guys if dragon eggs are so hard to find?
Yeah, I don't know. I would rather play in Birthright. You guys see that one?
No, what is
Mm.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Birthright is a setting from I think the 80s where instead of waiting until like 9th level to play the domain game, you start as someone who inherits a kingdom, right? So like one of the players
Oh,
I think is like the king or an inheritor of a kingdom in some regard. I'm not sure on the specifics, but so you are doing domain things where like maybe one player is sending armies to places or getting, having a political rival across in another kingdom or a duchy or a barony, whatever it is. And you're also going on adventures as lower level characters in that place as well.
Oh.
So it starts you off right in the domain game with like this. I'm pretty sure it's like a bunch of kingdoms all around each other.
I
That
feel
have
like
issue
that's
with each other.
closer to old school war games, like what they came from. Like that would be a natural jump.
So yeah, I agree. Basically the original Dungeons and Dragons had 3 facets to it, like OD&D, and it was the dungeon game, which was called the Underworld game, the Wilderness game, and then there was a implied, not really in the rule, domain game. And I'm not going to explain any of these yet until we come back around to in BX. Eventually, OD&D was original Dungeons and Dragons, which is just Dungeons and Dragons, right? The very first Dungeons and Dragons game. They realized that they didn't explain it very well in the rules, so they hired this guy, Dr. Holmes, to
Lindsay and Holmes. Yeah, Holmes, Lindsay. Yeah, I remember that.
To write a introductory game for beginners to explain how to play Dungeons and Dragons so that they could play the existing Dungeons and Dragons after they learn this quote unquote basic version. So Dr. Holmes writes Holmes Basic, as we call it these days, and makes a like easy version for people to know. And then when it's being edited and it's about to go to published, all this stuff happens with lawsuits and Arneson and Gygax. So instead of saying when you're done with level 3 and you've completed the basic game and you're ready to go to Dungeons and Dragons, they changed it to at level 3 when you're done you go to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, because Gary got all money from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but Arneson got some money from regular Dungeons. So anyway, they changed that, but
not to be confused, you're talking about AD&D 1E, not 2E.
Yes, this is
remember there's 2. Yeah.
So
which is confusing to people.
Yeah. So at this point there is AD&D and D&D. And D&D has a normal version called Dungeons and Dragons, and then it has this like intro version called Holmes Basic. But then they redo Holmes Basic, and Tom Moldvay, this person does Basic, and 2 other people do Expert. That's why it's called BX, Basic and Expert. And they retell regular Dungeons and Dragons and split it up into these 2 packages. The first package, Basic, being levels 1 through 3, and it's just the dungeon game. It only has rules for dungeons. And then the Expert game is 4 to 14, 4 to 15, around there. It's different for each class. And that Expert rules includes wilderness games. And then in the companion set, which was going to come out, they were going to put the domain game, but the companion set never came out. Instead, they rebooted BX into Beckme. And Menser did all Basic, Expert, Companion, Master, and Immortal, all 5 of them.
Yep. That's what Beckme stands for, if you were ever wondering.
This time around, yeah, that's what Beckme stands for. This time around, the B basic one was Dungeons, the E Expert was Wilderness, and the C Companion was the domain rules. And they finally got out these domain rules that were applied since 1974, where your characters got enough money. And they weren't really implied. They literally had rules for how much building a castle was. So they knew that eventually you were going to build a castle, but this really had rules for like attracting an army, how much taxes you collected.
Because you also have to think about the fact that old D&D, the capstone for your every character was essentially establishment of a city, town, guild, hall, monastery, something of that nature. Like you became a lord or you became a knight, and then you just trained. Like I think we've mentioned it before in other episodes. You then took that old retired level 9, level 14 character and said, okay, cool. My new
like
character hails from the kingdom of, Joblonsky.
Also, it was sort of a collaborative thing with the GM. Like, if you hit level 9 and the GM is like, okay, look, this new adventure came out, it's level 4. Your level 9 character is going to be retired for a while. Like, create a level 4. I
Yeah.
want to play this. So it could be set in your kingdom, your level 9's kingdom. Is that cool? Like you basically like just continued to play the game regardless of the character. People played the world, not the character. You know what I mean? Because these lasting impacts they made on the world, eventually, like making a kingdom and stuff, getting a high score in the game, whatever equivalent you want to call it. They wanted to keep playing in those worlds. They had like an affinity for them, and they could just keep making characters they liked, right?
I think that's the difference though between like current D&D and older D&D is that
I think
in current D&D, the idea is that if you want to have a long campaign, it's the same characters.
Yeah.
And they have to hit 20, and then you have to fill their void at 20 because they spent all this time building that character. And it's like, well, yeah, you could do that. But these guys that have these like 30, 40-year games that have been playing since OD&D are on their like 700th character.
And
if
they
not
might have
more.
like more than one at a time.
True.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
they're absolutely exploring Mystara, but also simultaneously dealing with a certain immortal and another, and then crossing the deserts and all this stuff all at once, and they can decide when they want to go back to those characters because their stories aren't necessarily happening at the exact same time, but they could be happening in the same world they've all created.
And if you're into domain game stuff and you're playing 5e, like Matt Colville's Strongholds and Followers, that's basically what it is. And there's a sequel to Strongholds and Followers. Strongholds and Followers is basically building that keep that you would have had in way older war games, and like it helps infuse the land with your energy and what have you. And then the sequel to that book, which I cannot think of the name of, is more stuff dealing with that, like your characters deal with other countries and what have you. Sorry, what was that?
I think it's Kingdoms and something.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, I cannot think of the name. But it is something like that.
My throat is getting so ripped up. I think I have to stop talking.
No, but we're hearing so much.
My voice. I mean, not my voice, but like my throat just hurts so much.
This is the good stuff.
I mean, we can talk again. We can save some things.
Okay, so we had voted as this is a one shot, but technically we're only like halfway through it. So we could do this again next week and count it as a homework assignment.
Let me see what comes next. Town features and
it's building town in the world.
Ah, okay. I mean, this is cool stuff.
I think honestly 4 and 5 are pretty important. I think we could put a pin in it and continue next week, because I think because 1 and 2 are so important. We spent a lot of time talking about it, and 3 obviously is our interpretation of the idea. People got history tonight too, as usual. This is why we're always happy that you're here, Clubs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You No,
No, don't be sorry. That was amazing.
This is the praise coming from it. Like
2
this is
hours
why
and
we're
30
happy.
minutes. Their
Like-
limit.
But you know, like obviously this is the stuff that most people quite honestly don't know. And
Yeah.
I will stand on with my pitchfork torch and on this tiny little hill. Most people assume that D&D didn't exist before Matt Mercer.
Yep.
And there are people who still stand on that hill or believe that older D&D is just too damn hard. It's not hard. It's just not holding your hand. That's really the best way to put it. There weren't rules written. Each edition is a different finger that they've interlocked into your hand. So consider 5e, we're holding your hand. That's the best way to put it. If basic and BX
style.
Oh yes, obviously, but it's also that the rules weren't written and flushed out in first edition. And while we've got fixes and like obviously adjustments and additions and people have rewritten rules to it, I think that quite honestly, you just need to have fun and just think of it as a different game a little bit when you're playing those older editions. That's just my advice.
Just do whatever it is to have fun.
Yeah.
Right?
If
have
everyone
fun.
at your table is having fun, like you're doing fine. And I forgot where I had seen this quote, but it still makes the absolute most sense to me. And it's most people are worried when they start DMing or GMing or refereeing, whatever. They're like, oh, do people actually like my games? Are people coming back to the table? If they are, then like you're doing it right. If the game's still going, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Well, next time, the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, the town.
Next
and the
week we'll
larger
be talking
world.
about the town.
Mm-hmm.
I
But I
feel
have
like
to
we're going to be
stop
talking a
right
lot
now.
about the town.
And next
I need
week
to-
we should have more DMs with us, so we can fill them in on our world, and then we can hear their takes on it.
I want to see both of you guys make a map. Make your own map for this, like a hex map or whatever.
Oh God, you want me to make more maps? I'm in the midst of making maps, so I will probably go insane making this map, but I am down.
So you don't have to make like a fancy map. Just, like, look at the map in the example here. It looks like chicken scratch. It doesn't even have to be that big. Be like 3 hexes, whatever you want. Not 3, but it can be small.
I'm definitely down to make a map for this.
Ooh.
I think
Okay, make a map or make an encounter table.
Ooh, I want to make an encounter table. Now it's homework. Now it's actual homework for us.
There you go. I mean, like, we can. The way this works is that in 5 weeks we can play in it. Right? It's going to be realized enough to, not to say that we have to, but it'll be realized enough that you could. You can play in it. You can take what we're going to do and play in it.
it's true.
So, I mean, that's actually a
We
good
always
looking-
say we always say that we're gonna give people stuff, and I did a terrible job tonight of shilling. So, folks, if you've enjoyed the past 2 hours and 30 minutes of us talking D&D shop without a stop, because quite literally, I think we just gushed over D&D for about 2 straight hours.
Cove of get out of here.
I'm not even gonna justify that one.
Are the dolphins sex offenders or the sex offenders targeting dolphins?
Ooh,
Where's
damn.
the emphasis, Fist?
Yeah, wait, hold on. There's a function. There's some questions I have to ask. I definitely threw
I hope the answer is neither.
I'm gonna let you know right now, Cloves. Clubs, they're probably gonna get an answer.
Oh man,
And it's gonna make you hurt.
my throat is literally burning. I gotta go shove an ice cream down it.
I'm also
Well,
going to eat ice cream. I'm in it.
yeah, I think I'll join you guys with the ice cream. But folks, as I was going to say before we got hit by a roving cove, if you've enjoyed yourself for the past 2 hours and 30 minutes, hit all the DM Lacara has personally recorded long ago in a time far away a perfect way to help the channel, and I know Kami's going to press that button right now.
Boop.
Hit the buttons. Do the
Please.
thing. If you have money, make the buttons give him money. If you don't have money, just hit the buttons that subscribe, and that also gets him money. So you get to feel good either way.
I need to start putting that in videos. Like, the whole point of us
That would-
doing these ads was so I could intersperse them, and I never do.
I mean, it would probably be good if you just like had a recorded version of you doing your shilling that you just included in videos for yourself, so you don't have to always remember. It's just like, wait, there it is. Bloop. Like a popular YouTuber. Nightclub.
Good night.
I heard the badoop, and then I was like, that's probably Clubs being like, I'm off to bed.
That is so... I'm so glad he's coming and talking. It makes me happy. He's the history
I
guy.
mean-
We need a history guy.
Yeah, quite literally. We have a little bit of everything for everybody. Fun for the whole family. Just don't bring your grandma to our stream.
She's not going to like what she hears, probably. Maybe she will. I don't know. I don't know what your grandma's into.
That's true. Maybe your grandma's progressive.
But
Okay.
where can they find you this week if they're looking for you, DM Shin?
Don't. No. I will be all over the place. I think I had mentioned to you before. I am in the midst of packing, moving, and prepping. So I will be. I will unfortunately be a little tied up this week. So I apologize if you reach out to me in any way, shape, or form, and I seem a little distracted. But I will be in the usual reachable places of Discord. It may take me an additional hour or two to respond to you, but know that I still love you and do wish to consume all media provided, because quite honestly, I sometimes need things to look at in the middle of my workday that make my coworkers go, "What?" Huh? What about you, Okami? Where can they find you this week? What's the schedule this week?
This week,
Mr.
we've
Workerman.
got tomorrow night, I'll be on at 8, streaming more Horizon Forbidden West. We are reaching the almost end of the game, and I'm happy about that, because I'll be happy not to play it anymore. But there's also DLC, so we'll finish the DLC after that. Though I doubt the DLC could ever be as long as the main game.
Awaz, I know what I said.
Those are very dangerous words.
I vaguely regret, but not entirely, I suppose. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm awake enough to contemplate the threat that have just been issued. But that's okay.
That's the way it is. Sometimes you just gotta get a little when people send you messages. And then this Friday is not the thank you stream, but it will be a special unboxing stream I'll be doing with Oxford Comma Splice. We're going to unbox Maladum, Dungeons of Enveron, and all of the Kickstarter expansions, because it's one of the games that we started watching the how to builds in the server that people were coming in and watching with us. But Maladum has really cool dungeon terrain It's all cardboard, and then there's clips, so you can snap them all together. But it is some of the best looking dungeon terrain I've ever seen in my life. It's by Battle Systems, so that should probably give you a clue as to how pretty it's going to be. But Oxford Comma's like, I need to build stuff. And I'm like, I mean, I got terrain, you just can't touch it yet. And she was like, well, we're going to fix that. And I was like, okay. So we're going to unbox the base game plus the first expansion, which is in the Kickstarter edition. The next 2 expansions, the multi-party assault bundle, I think is what it's called. And then the sewers edition, I think is what it's called. Something like that.
Does it come with turtles, though? I just need to know.
I think there's got to be some kind of turtle in the water. But I know that you and Clubs and that crew would like to play Trench Crusade. The multi-party assault bundle for Maladum, normally you play like an adventuring party in the dungeons or the sewers or wherever you're going in Maladum, but the multi-party edition lets you play, like each player has their own party to take control of, and you can each do different missions in the same dungeon at basically the same time. So at some point that might be a cool thing for us to play live on stream. We're not quite there yet, but at some point we'll be doing some live on stream stuff.
We're working on it. We're getting better at it.
I will also say, I didn't get to mention it before. I sort of did in passing, but officially, as of today, since I signed my contract, this is this. I thought that this was gonna wrap around the entire screen, and it hasn't yet. I got to do some work on that. But I'm now officially the head of community for Geek Tank Games. They make minis. I've done many videos on their stuff, both just on the minis themselves and also videos where I've used their minis. So it is definitely a product I stand by. And hopefully this gets both me and the company in other places, so there will be more filming and stuff, and getting paid to work on videos and talk to people is also very nice. So hopefully there will be new cameras and stuff on the horizon.
It's also kind of like your dream job.
Yeah, I'm in the industry, y'all, and I couldn't have got here without any of you guys. Like the fact that the DMs from DM Roundtable are here, and the fact that all you guys out there in the audience are here. Like, I wouldn't have got here if I hadn't been here talking about TTRPGs and stuff with the rest of you. So I want to say thank you to all of you.
It said sellout.
Yeah, my boss is like, are you sure you want to put our logo on your stuff? Like, won't people think you're selling out? And I was like, I don't think so. But maybe.
Are you sure you want to put your logo on our stuff?
So we'll see. I will say that you can at least tell me. I can tell you with 100% certainty that when I got the job, my boss was like, I can send you stuff, and I go, I appreciate it, but I don't need it. And he's like, you don't want anything? And I was like, I own the whole catalog of miniatures, so I'm good.
You're like, there's nothing you could. He's like, but what if I sent you the stuff you don't have? That's what he's gonna hit you with. He's gonna send you a photo of like something you've never seen. He's like, oh yeah, you remember that guy who used to be on YouTube? You're like, you're looking at this collection of cars I have, you're probably like, wow. But what I'm really impressed with is my collection of books. You're like, wow, you must really be impressed with this whole table. Oh man, I didn't mean to show you this total collection of unreleased miniatures that you've never seen before. I can see you on the other side of the screen foaming at the mouth. No, not foaming, frothing.
I will
Like-
say, okay, I have the entire collection of miniatures, but they also make tabletop tokens. But I have so much scattered terrain already that I was like, okay, there's like 4 sets of tabletop tokens that I don't have, but I don't need them. I have so much scattered terrain.
When you get to the point where you can buy your family free house,
Yes, 100%.
we will talk about getting you tokens.
Yeah.
Until I
Eventually,
get you in
though,
there.
I will have an affiliate code, so you guys can buy things with my affiliate code, which I have been told
Wait.
will be a 20% off discount code as well. And I'm like, oh, we official now.
Wait, does that mean like the roundtable via you is sponsored?
Technically?
Accidentally?
Technically?
Oh god. Now we actually have to get an official.
You actually just gave me the idea. I think I'm going to ask for my affiliate code to be DM Roundtables, not just me. I think that makes more sense.
Slow down, Chief. Let's make it you first.
Okay.
Let's slow it down. Before but inadvertently, if you hear me in the sound of a suit, how you'll hear that sound you will never know. But if you ever hear me in the sound of a suit, we will absolutely be official tissue sounding the best we can.
Hell yeah. This also means if you are coming to New York Comic Con with me this year, I believe you are, DM Shin. But also Dex and Grim and Dungeon Mommy. Who am I missing? I don't know who else I'm missing. I may have to work for part of the con, but whatever.
Oh my goodness! I'm so proud of you.
Woo! I'm in the industry, boys and girls. Hell yeah!
This makes me so proud of you. You know, I'm going to say this as we end the stream before I go. When you and I left the worst place humanly possible, I made you a promise, and I said that I was gonna help you get there. I didn't know when, but I'm happy to see you actually there, because when you were leaving, you were like, I'm going to grind at this for a bit and then see if it sticks. And if it doesn't stick, I'll try something different. And you grinded it, and you've grinded, and we've been doing this for over a year now. And the fruit of your labor is, Okami, you are in fact a community manager for a TTRPG company. You did it, buddy, and I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. There's also some other stuff coming up for DM Roundtable that involves having reached out to some TTRPGs, or rather the other way around. They reached out to us first, but we're finalizing some details. But yeah, this has been a great month for the Roundtable.
It is true. But hopefully that just means that we're going to have even better.
Hell yeah. We're going to get better and better. But until we see you next week, or anyone wants to come and hang out on the next streams that will be this week, have fun. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. And enjoy your games. And if you want to really tell us about what you're doing in the middle, Awaz, I already have a list of people that are like, this is who I have to bring into the company next. Don't worry. If one of us goes up, we're all going up.
Oh Lord, I will. Oh Lord, don't. I stop yourself before you hurt yourself.
It's my first day. Okay, we got time. But
we got time.
We got time.
Don't
take care of
me giddy in the face.
Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. Awaz, I will send you those videos on YouTube in a little bit. I actually have... Oh no, I put them away during the stream, actually. I have some sets of Geek Tank Games minis that I haven't even opened yet. But I do have them all. So I will have to make more videos very soon. But I figured I might as well wait, since my boss was like, can we just make it so that your regular content brings in people? And I was like, I mean, I think it does already. But
Yeah, I think
sure, I got more stuff that I can show off. That's fine. But yes, yeah, we're doing good, and I wouldn't be here without the rest of you. But yes, enjoy the rest of your weeks. If I don't see you, enjoy your games. Just play and be happy. I'm gonna see if the buy command works on. Thank you for putting the buy command in on Twitch. The Nightbot on YouTube is fighting me. I think I'm gonna change the Ko-fi command to KO-FI and see if that fixes all of these issues. But I will deal with that later. I don't know why he hates us. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna keep this up for now, and just say that I don't know if furries are the ones, but okay. So Geek Tank Games minis, the minis that I can say we have now. There's 3 different artists that work on our stuff.
say it with your chest.
Hell yeah. There's Printable Heroes, who pretty much anyone who uses Papercraft minis already knows. Papercraft Printable Heroes does like more realistic, grittier art. Then there's Trash Mob Minis, which is actually how I found Geek Tank Games, because I did a Kickstarter when they started working with Trash Mob. They're more cartoony, but the Trash Mob minis for oozes and slimes, for some reason, the medium-sized ones are slimes pretending to be like sexy. Okay, they're not sexy. They're too cartoony to be sexy, but they're hot girls, and I just think that's so funny. That's the choice they went with. And then the tabletop tokens are done by 2 Minute Tabletop, who we have featured maps and adventures on this channel.
I use them quite a bit. I've used them quite a bit. I'm probably gonna still be using them even in Cardno, so you'll probably see them pop up again.
Yes. Like this.
There's a non-zero chance.
Yeah, I will definitely send you them videos soon. But this is just a me thing. Not shilling, but it'll help me if you don't purchase anything until I get my affiliate codes.
I love that you're not. I love that you're finally going to have to learn how to shill.
Yeah, this I gotta get good at. But yes,
Like,
I will
your
see.
job is going to actually teach you how to promote yourself.
I know this is hard, but we will see you all later. Bye, everyone. Yes, it is sponsored. It is sponsored content already. Bye, everybody. Bye, Twitch.